Here we are.
Yes.
We have finally got some Kuei-Jin content on YouTube.
Yes, we
At long
do.
last. I make no exaggeration. Not one World of Darkness channel has stepped up to the plate except for Melted Cheese Fondue 11 years ago.
In regards to Kuei-Jin?
Yes. And even
Jesus.
then, his video on the Devil Tiger was only 6 minutes long. And that's
yeah,
it.
which is weird. Granted, this is a relatively short book, but they jam-pack this thing.
We were gone the inside for this episode. JoJo, why don't you tell Lore by Night if you starve for content this much, we have a whole entire Kuei-Jin waiting for him to cover.
Well, the issue is the motherfucker finds the Kuei-Jin racist, so he isn't going to cover it.
Because he says that white people can't rap about Chinese people. And that's the honest-to-God answer.
It's like people are incapable of doing research or something.
This is why me and Kyle, British leftist. This is
That's the issue. The funny thing is, he read the books, he said initially they were interesting, he said they were cool, then he learned about some politics behind them, and he said, oh, fuck this noise.
And then I guess, like, there are some YouTubers out there that have to listen to every single comment that they get. I'm pretty sure he's one of them.
Yeah, like, in his initial Kuei-Jin video, in the episodes right afterwards, he was talking about how they were interesting, they were one of his favorite things, they were one of his favorite bits of Bloodlines 1.
And where's the content?
And where's the content? Fucking nowhere, because
where's the beef?
Where's the beef, my guy? I mean, this is why I would never ask this guy for a collaboration, because I'm pretty sure that me and this dude will never get on the same page.
You know, it'd probably just be a screaming match the whole time, I reckon.
I mean, I would love to have a blood sport. I would love to have IBS come back, but we can't do it on either one of our channels. We need to get a moderator for that.
Yep.
That's the rules. So
the
here we
slurs you would end up using on one another.
Oh I'm a chimney sweep.
Out here using slurs that don't even exist.
What do you got going on in the background, JoJo?
And, what do you mean?
There's some sort of buzz going on.
Yeah, there's like
some
some buzz.
fuck, this is my fan.
We'll turn off the fan. That's all I got to do. So let's go ahead. Let's start talking about the Devil Tigers. We're doing the best first. We're doing the easiest to understand first. Well, actually, no.
I don't know if that's easiest to understand. I mean, it's quite a bit.
The Resplendent Crane is the easiest one to understand. The Devil Tiger you gotta do a little bit of work on, but once you get it, there's no mistaking it. There was a moment in this where it clicked for me, where I said, I got it. I know what these guys are all about now. I know exactly how I'm supposed to run these guys or play as these guys in the game.
See, you're still... I read the book, and I'm still like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Oh, well, let me teach you.
Please.
Let me teach you. So I did need a lot of help with the history section in this, because if you want to talk about a breakneck pace, this is insane how quickly this book goes. I shit you not, this is bullet point history. The history that gets brought up in the Kuei-Jin book lasts a sentence, and they're off to the next point. So if this sounds like it's gone by really fucking fast, that's because it went by really fucking fast in the book. To let you know who wrote this was written by one Jeffrey C. Grabowski, who did a fair amount of Kuei-Jin content. He's also one of the few people that work for White Wolf that actually has a professional Wikipedia page. There's still a fan in the background, by the way. And Jeffrey C. Grabowski, his big wheelhouse was Exalted, specifically Exalted 3rd edition. He got called back in to write that when that came out in like 2016. And then besides that, he's done a little bit of work with White Wolf and Ars Magica, of all things. They brought back Ars Magica, the game that Meiji essentially was a spiritual successor to, and had him work on it. So this is a guy that knows how to write a good book. When you see Jeffrey C. Grabowski's name on a project, you're in good hands. This is also developed by Richard E. Dansky. There's a whole developer note special thanks saying, this is the last book I've ever wrote. It was not the last book he ever wrote. There would be more books that come after this. This was written in 1999. He'd be still releasing books with his name on until like, I think like 2003 or 4. But maybe it had something to do with release scheduling, because After all, you remember with TSR in D&D 2nd edition, there was a shit load of Ravenloft content that is just lost. It's just completely lost media. Because they made all these different Ravenloft books, but then just didn't have the money to print them. And then, because these books were written in years in advance. And then they just couldn't publish the books, write the books, and then all those copies were discarded. Which fucking sucks.
It is tragic.
But, after all, just don't make a shitty company, Like, actually balance out your budget. Is that hard
it's that
thing to
easy,
do?
bros. Just balance your budget.
So now we get into the actual history section with this, after we've gone over the preamble. So we begin on page, for all of you who are following at home, this is page 15 in my copy of the file, where the Devil Tigers claim that they were the first real philosophy to form after Mount Meru fell. Now, you might need a bit of a refresher. What was Mount Meru? You remember when we talked about the Akashics and the Kuei-Jin first episode, that Mount Meru was basically Asian Mount Olympus. It was your stairway to heaven. Mm-hmm. You walk up this road. You're able to talk with heaven itself. The Scarlet Empress and the Ebon Dragon are up there talking with you. You can commune with heaven. And the Akashic Record was up there, this information database about all the lives that were going to ever come into the world. If they knew what the Akashic Record was, they'd be able to live a better life, knowing their destiny, knowing that all the loss they would suffer would come to pass. Basically, Dio's idea of heaven from JoJo Part 6 was what Mount Meru was. And then the Wan Shan fell because, if I'm remembering the lore right, cross-splatting, I believe it was the Defiler and Consumption Worm that resulted in the destruction of Mount Meru. The Defiler found out how to turn the Wan Shan into Kuei-Jin, and the Consumption Worm literally ate the mountain. And then Mount Meru was gone, our connection to heaven was gone, and the Wan Shan would then become the Wan Kuei, which would eventually devolve into the Kuei-Jin as the curse progressed. As we know, the Wan Kuei were people that left their own hubris and their own self-importance, that we're God's chosen warriors, or that the lovely 10,000 immortals that are going to save the human race, let that get to their heads, and that led to the curse progressing, where they can no longer be amongst mortals without harming them. They can no longer go into the sun. And as the Yama Kings grew in power, they eventually got their souls dead to rights. Any Kuei-Jin that dies is immediately dragged back into the hells set up by the Yama Kings, and your chance of escaping is very little, slim to none. I think there's like a whole whopping 5 Kuei-Jin characters that have done it a second time. But there's your preamble for that. Now, the Devil Tigers, of course, will use the common ancestor, like their version of Cain is called Jue. They claim that Jue achieved enlightenment by stripping naked, going to a field of nettles, rolling around naked in the nettles, setting fire, burning his clothes, flaying off parts of his skin, burning his skin, finally ripping his own face off, throwing it in the fire, and then the pain and agony from what he just did gave him enlightenment. And he found out that a necessary part of human existence was suffering. It is my destiny to suffer. I cannot live in this world without going through some sort of unimaginable pain, and it will follow me for my entire life. Now, I know this. And if pain and suffering is inevitable, then let me control it. Let me decide in what moderation I will experience my pain, and let me offer unto others how much pain I feel they should be given. He decides that if Earth is going to be hell, he's going to be one of the devils that controls it. And thus the paradigm for the Devil Tigers forms. You believe that you've gone to hell. You know this. You went to hell for around 7 days at most. You escaped it, you ran back into your body, you come out, you shake your head and realize, whoa, that was heavy. I'm back on Earth. You know what? I thought Earth was a bad place before, but I just went to hell. And that was a way worse place than here. So it's like in heaven in comparison, but I still remember that the world was still bad. But now with this knowledge about hell is like, I now have a leg up amongst everyone else. I now know what real suffering looks like and how to administer it after being tortured in hell for however long. So let me come over here and let me make the quote reality. Better to reign on Earth then serve in heaven and be trapped in hell. Was that not how the quote goes? Oh, wait, well, that's how the quote should go. That's the great plan. There was one key goal with Devil Tigers: world domination. Plain and simple.
And they do so through torturing people, relentlessly
Exactly.
so.
We are going to make several comparisons between these guys and, well, the Sabai as a whole, but namely Clan Zamichi.
Yes.
Is what they share a lot of similarities with.
There's a lot of blood magic, a lot of
noticing-
sorcery, a lot of rituals pertaining specifically to Banes.
Yes, where it's a lot of mastery over evil is a core theme with the Devil Tigers. So they were the first real philosophy to form. I guess this was the first thing Shui did before he did the 4 other things that decided what the Dharmas were going to look like. And because it was the first one to form, and JoJo, if you remember with Kuei-Jin character creation, you start off with 4 points in your Poe score, only 1 point in your Humanity score, technically. So there's a pretty high chance, like 75% chance that all Kuei-Jin become Devil Tigers.
Yes.
Fair to make that quantitative literacy judgment. So because of that,
yeah,
the sheer numbers of Devil Tigers in the early days was massive. Like, say you have around 1,000 members of the Resplendent Cranes, 1,000 members of the other Dharmas, there would be 6,000 Devil Tigers in comparison.
Yep.
Just to let you know what the massive disparity was. To the point where the 5 emperors, before it became just the one emperor, the Jade Emperor, Yu Huang, or as he was known in life, Qin Shi Huang, realized that we were going to have some chaos if we just let the Devil Tigers just continue to surge in numbers like this. The Resplendent Cranes went over, gave them this idea, and Yu Huang said, "You're right. It would be really bad if the Devil Tigers just kept growing and growing and growing in number, and we never really made any progress as a group because of it. I, the Jade Emperor, want to not just conquer the underworld, but the entire world. My aspiration and my teeth are bared," said Yu Huang.
yes.
It's not just him want to take over China like he did in life, which he did. He now wants the entire world in death after finding out that death ain't shit in the world of darkness.
I mean, that is after he drank mercury, trying to find the cure, trying to find immortality, and killed himself.
And then he went to hell and he got better. Exactly.
Yep.
So he decides that he is going to give his blessing to the Resplendent Crane. Anything the Cranes ask, they will get. No questions asked, and the first thing they ask for is a severe limitation of numbers of the Devil Tigers. Now, they were not necessarily called Devil Tigers during this point. They were going by like 3 different names during this period. They didn't realize that they were all on the same side. These were just 3 groups that were doing the same thing, but they just didn't know about each other. They were called the Heavenly Devils, the Celestial Devils, and the Crimson Tigers, where eventually all 3 groups would come to know that the other existed, learned that they were basically the same thing, were on the same page, and eventually just conglomerated to form the Devil Tigers. So in case you're confused about that in the book, that's what that's supposed to be.
They're all the same guys, but they just happen to be in different cliques.
And a few of them started a faction called the Demon Warrior Empire, where they said, you know what, we're just going to go out and take over the world our own way. We don't need to listen to what the 5 emperors have to say. We're just going to go over and fight Clan Ravnos, and then they proceed to get their asses beat because Ravnos is Generation 2, in case you forgot, by Vampire the Masquerade standards.
Oh, and that's going to go so well for them.
And the Demon Warrior Empire very quickly flamed out after the 5 emperors watched them come back and said, yeah, we told you so. We told you so. We told you this wasn't going to work.
Common
tried
Ravnos
it.
W.
Skill Delph. Fucking skill death. Fuck.
It's a skill issue. You should listen to what we have to say. But we have all the skills. You have none of the skills. And the 5 emperors would form the 5 August Courts, it's an outdated government body that we don't really need to worry about in the modern sense. It was essentially going to be, we're going to have 5 different kingdoms set up on 5 different directions: north, east, west, south, and middle. And we're just going to organize these areas. We're going to split China into these different chunks, spread to other parts of Asia. Depending on what direction we go in, we'll decide why the court manages it. And then the 4 of the emperors left, and the emperor that does matter the most, Yu Huang, stayed behind to make sure that his will of global domination was actually going to be foreseen and carried out. So, of course, you have the Heavenly Cranes doing whatever they can just to keep everything together during the early days when Clan Ravnos not only had its shit together, but was teaming up with the Gangrel in order to really take the fight to them out of India. They pushed them out of India. They pushed them all into China. And meanwhile, the Devil Tigers were the ones that were taking the fight to the Ravnos and Gangrel during this time. These were guys that were looking for a fight. Were looking at Ravnos, saw them as the Mount Olympus to climb. Whoever can kill Ravnos will have his name set in the Underworld's legacy forever. And none of them could succeed. It was impossible. I mean, the Technocrat Union need to do how much to kill Ravnos, seemingly, the first time?
They literally needed to create the fifth great maelstrom to try and fucking kill Ravnos.
Exactly that. And you did have the Devil Tigers try forming a little something around this time. They called them Heavenly Devil Churches, where we're going to teach you how to be evil. You thought you knew how to be evil, Kyle? Well, it turns out you don't know anything. Oh, you're a villain, all right, just not a super one.
I see. I will have to teach you all how to be villains.
Exactly that. That's what they essentially was. It was evil school that they made. We're going to teach you how to be an evil villain. We have like Chinese Lex Luthor telling you how to be a proper villain. Now, how to do it. Kyle, anybody can be a villain in the World of Darkness. Anybody can be evil. Anyone can just be an asshole and go out and ruin someone else's day. So how is that working for the Fomori?
So for the Fomori, it's very simple. It's you either introduce vices, you try and pry away at the weaknesses that you sense within other people, and you worm your way in through whatever those vices are, be it excess, be it lust, be it pride, be it rage, be it anything of that sort that will cause you to inflict pain or, work to elevate yourself to a tyrannical position above somebody else. And so the Bane then uses that as a conduit in order to find the cracks in the human soul and then seep their way in until eventually achieving a possession.
Yes. Now, how long is the lifespan of a Fomori?
Short. You are on borrowed time as soon as you start hacking up worms.
JoJo, if you remember right, the lifespan of a Fomori is anywhere between 3 years to 2 months. After that bang gets inside of you.
Shorter still if you have the doomed feat. Or not
or
feet, but the doomed...
Or Fomorak, where the worm is actively trying to get you killed so it can turn you into pills.
Yes.
I thought that was called Femoral.
Yeah, Femoral.
Well, that's the drug they turn you into.
Oh, okay.
But meanwhile, the Devil Tiger looks at you and says, well, you can do that. You can go ahead, live fast, live evil, and then die within 7 days after the next hero wannabe steps up and kills you. That's going to be your legacy. That's going to be a very small story. Now, what we're going to teach you is that you can go over there and you can kill that guy today. But how? You can only do it the one time. Hunting a man is like hunting any other wild animal. The minute you miss your shot, your chance is gone forever, and who knows if you're going to get a second chance. And when you do it, what's your memory going to be like? Are you going to think about, ooh, I could have done this. Oh, what if I did this? Oh, what if I made it more fantastical? What was in front of his family? What if it was on this day? What if I used this weapon? You see, you're going to be thinking of that. And we want you to not have those thoughts. We want you to get it done right the first time. The best possible scenario you could of doing your evil thing, we want you to do. You can just be a 2-bit villain, or you can be perfect in your villainy. You want to be perfect? We're going to show you how to be perfect. That's the whole thing. It's, instead of just immediately biting down on the sucker the minute it goes past your teeth, let it melt in your mouth down to the stick. And then when you finally get to that Tootsie Roll center and you feel it normally, that's when you start biting. Patience. You can't just do whatever you want whenever you feel like it just because you have the lower part of your soul taking over your body. No. Don't let the devil ride you. You ride the devil. You think about your villainy and you be smart in it. You find a way to make this evil sustainable, something that the worm really doesn't understand. And you want to find ways to get away with it every time. That's the Devil Tiger. That's how you do the evil. You want to be this magnanimous, supervillain when you play as the Devil Tigers. And the minute I looked over this, I started thinking, this, of course, would make for a fantastic antagonist, but no, this is playable.
Yes.
The BSDs aren't playable. The Fondi are highly discouraged to play. We went over that book with Storyteller, and the book said, like, straight up, do not run in the Fondi Chronicle. It's not going to work, bro.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Because it'll just be disgusting. It's about as difficult as like you can feasibly run a Freak Legion game, but it will be very, very short.
Yes. Or you can do that. And JoJo, I think you've done a few evil characters in the past as well. But
A handful.
But
I tried to run a Sabat game, I had a player literally just playing as Dio. So like that's a scale fucking evil. He fucking played as a British Zemitzi that fucking flesh crafted himself to look like his dead adoptee brother. He got adopted into the family of, but that's here nor there.
Now, were your players villains or supervillains?
I want to say here supervillains. We had a path of Kafari La Sombra. Had a Serpent of the Light on power and an inner voice. We had Dio Brando.
Now, here's the thing here. I remember, like, back when I played D&D, that people said that chaotic evil characters next to never work unless you're playing a group of, unless you're in a group that's not taking the game seriously at all. Lawful evil, you can work with. Neutral evil, that's the one you gotta think about. Where only a player that really knows what they're doing with their character can do that. And the best advice I ever got when I was playing a neutral evil character, do not ever antagonize the party. Instead, be the most helpful player in the entire party, so they are willing to help you in return when you plan on doing something evil in the future. Was the advice I was given.
If I were to give an example of that, in the case of the Dark Ages game I was running today, we had Anakin playing as his La Sombra character.
Yes.
By his own admission, his character, Erebus, was so evil and abhorrent the rest of the party barely had any good reason to interact with him, besides the fact how useful he was with Abyss and mysticism.
Exactly that.
And how much he was able to assist the party with just basic abilities.
And we've seen this in practice before too, Colin, when we played Vampire, because after all, remember the character qualities of Vigo Corinth?
Yes. He was still one of the most charming evil people I've ever had the pleasure of playing with.
It's one of those villains you want to go for. One of those villains that you don't just love to hate them. You know they're bad, but they do it so well that you forget about some of the stuff they do. Characters like, say, Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2, for example.
Evil characters that have an undeniable streak of charm to them.
Like, you almost don't want to kill them just because they'll end the story.
Yep.
Exactly that. Those are the kind of villains you want to do with the Devil Tiger. And and there is this whole transhumanist element to it with the Zemichi, where they do want to keep going up their dharmas and find out just how to be the best villain possible, but they're doing it not to be this master of the world. There is a ascension element to it where when I reach my peak villainy, that's when I'm going to get brought into heaven. And then I will make hell in heaven, because even heaven needs a little bit of evil in it. It is a realm of ultimate good, but that good will become irrelevant if there's no evil in it, is it? Correct. It's almost like an alien paradoxical mindset that the Devil Tigers have. So when I get in it, I will be the angel of adversary. They take on a role in the World of Darkness that is very similar to Satan, the way that the Jewish text and first Christian beliefs saw Satan as. Where it's a necessary evil in the world. Where the Devil Tigers, from their perspective, will immediately come to the conclusion that heaven itself wants them to be evil in order to be an antithesis to the goodness. It really is that quote from Megamind: if I'm destined to be a bad boy, I will be the baddest boy there is. And then you do it. But at no point do you ever lose control of yourself. If I may make one more analogy to have this make sense to you, you at least know enough about Warhammer 40k to know about Slaanesh.
Yeah, to an extent.
There is a frequent motto that is shared amongst Slaanesh's people called "Feast upon the delights of this world." And when it comes to chaos demons and the Emperor's children, you find out just how destructive that feast is. The delights of this world are sweet in the same way that lead is sweet. You do not realize that for every atrocity and every time you pleasure yourself, that high becomes harder and harder to replicate by design. Your highs will eventually run out of you doing the same thing over and over. You'll find out the same thing you did before that made you ecstatic will make you miserable. And you're actually forced to seek crazier shit to do worse or atrocities in order to reach a resemblance of the high that you used to have back when you first joined Slanesh. It is completely unsustainable. That is a parasite on any planet that it appears in, and it will very quickly burn that planet of all of its resources and all of its joy. But meanwhile, there is another faction that does serve Slanesh, technically, but they do it sustainably. That is the
Dark Eldar.
Drukhari. You have the Drukhari, the Dark Elves, that will fight each other on occasion, but these are guys that make a living off of torturing people as psychic vampires. The more agony they put you through, the more it sustains them. And they don't ever let this control them. They know that when they die, they're going to hell with Slanesh, where they will not be in any sort of pleasurable state. They know that their time on Earth is limited, and they're going to make everything worse for everyone else. Not because it's their problem that everyone else needs to feel bad about, it's because they honestly enjoy doing what they're doing and know how to maximize their returns. This is the group that made the Night Lords terrified of the dark, because the Drukhari plan everything. Everything is a perfect heist. These are people that have been pleasuring themselves for tens of thousands of years. They know how to reap the returns. And with the Devil Tigers, you have the same thing. You have ancestors to call upon that will teach you how to maximize your returns on your torture. You are a supervillain that gets away with it every single time, and you can keep coming back because you know if you destroy everything in one day, there will be nothing left to destroy and your own existence will become irrelevant. That was what's clicked in my mind when I was reading over the Devil Tigers, and it made sense to me. It's that you are going to become the villain of this world, and anything that thinks it can do its job better than you can needs to be destroyed.
Basically,
you are skirting this very, very narrow line between anti-hero and anti-villain the entire game. And it is very interesting.
it's like that one line from I think Prince of the Universe. There can be only one.
Mm-hmm. And it will be the Devil Tigers. They're here to. These are villains that are actively out and hunting other villains. And Kyle, you remember from the wrestling episode we did how much I love a good heel versus heel fight?
Yes, absolutely. It's your favorite.
Exactly. So, like Solo Sikoa versus Gunther was such a fucking awesome match a year ago. But going into this, you essentially have the middle period where they start spreading their own tale of what Shui was. The Emperors are gone. You have the Jade Emperor left behind, pushing everybody around. It looked like the Kuei-Jin were doing fine until like the Excellent Archer came out, shot all 8 of the other suns out of the sky, and there was only one sun left. Imagine just how fucking freaked out you had to be as Helios that that there were 9 suns total. You go to sleep, you wake up after Luna's done, you find out all the other suns have just fallen into the abyss and are just gone.
I mean, that would break me pretty much. I'm surprised Helios didn't find whoever did it and smite them off the face of the earth.
Well, Helios is an idiot, and that's the whole thing with him. Ignorance is bliss in his case. If Helios was smarter, he'd be miserable.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
There's also a weird section here that lasts a sentence where they say that the Kuei-Jin Devil Tigers had a spat with the Hussein, which are the Eastern Changelings in Fae. They didn't expand upon it.
It's like, oh yeah, that happened.
And they also mentioned that
writing.
They also mentioned that the Gaki, the Japanese Kuei-Jin equivalents, were the last ones to really learn their ways. And this is not racial because, let me reiterate. Do you remember how I said before that when it comes to any and all Asian culture, it all originated from India?
Yes.
This is brought up in a little anecdote within the Kuei-Jin, within the Devil Tiger book. may I introduce you to the god known as Vaisravana, the Indian god of war. He is one of the, I believe it is, four kings gods, where he's associated with a lot of things, but essentially he's their chief war god, so to speak. He would then get pushed over into China because China, wanting to eat, traded with India for all the good things they had in India, found out the story of the Vaisravana, and decided they wanted to adopt that myth as Pishamentian, which is also one of the four heavenly kings, but he got adopted into their other mythology with the 20 devas, or depending on who you ask, it was 24 devas, and he became their iteration of that war god. This would then get pushed into Japan, where the stories of Pishamentian would then get translated into the legends of Bishamonten, which is what his name read in from Japanese translation. Chinese translation into Japanese translation. Until they decided they were just going to cut the 10 off his name, and he just became known as the god Bishamon, who was still a war god, but his connection to the four kings got cut off. He became part of a new group called the Seven Lucky Gods, and now he is here where he's essentially the same god as Vaisravana, but he's just the Japanese version of it. And this is ultimately like an allegory for the Kuei-Jin as a whole, where even though we have Kuei-Jin starting in like the border between India and China, they became synonymous with China after spending more time in China, and then the culture of the Kuei-Jin shift as they go into different Asian cultures. The same way that the Kuei-Jin, even though they're all under one umbrella, will not like each other if they're from other countries. Because it points out that every other Devil Tiger hates and dunks on the Japanese Devil Tigers because they were the last ones to form, and because everyone in Asia fucking hates Japan.
Yeah, that seems to be constant.
Where I shit you not, like Devil Tigers, if they're from Japan, will just get pushed around by everyone else in the Kuei-Jin, even if they don't share the same Dharma as them. And then eventually, that evil school mentioned before, it would become formalized as the august body of sagacious devils, which we will talk about more in depth later. Where, when we go over this really is evil university, so to speak. And then we go out and say,
Monsters University.
We need you to go out and spread the word of evil. So they essentially did what the Catholic Church did with the cathedrals and the printing press, where in order to help indoctrinate other Kuei-Jin into the ways of evil, they started creating evil text, evil books, a whole codex on villainy, along with their own personal code of honor. We're going to be honorable villains. And they proceeded to go ahead, share it with everybody. They went over to Southeast Asia, Korea, Japan. They sailed across the ocean to Indonesia and to the Philippines, and every other part of the Pacific Islands as well. But then decadence would happen in China. I'm forgetting what that was specific dynasty it was, but you saw Mulan. You already know the shit. Mongols invaded.
Yes,
And they conquered northern China. And the shock test system was so severe that the entire Kuei-Jin court almost completely collapsed over that happening because they were so sure that China was going to take over the world, and it didn't yet. And it got to the point where only the Jade and the Black Tourist courts survived, which would eventually lead to the Jade Emperor Yu Huang abolishing that court system altogether and just starting a brand new system where it's like the Qin Kun, I think is how you say that word. Like Quincunx. In case you're wondering what the Black Tourist Court was, that was the South Court. That was like Korean shit.
right.
Southeast Asia as well. But, by the way, we got better. Because one, Piao Piyang, a barbarian bodhisattva, aka he had a Dharma score of 8 or higher, who the Devil Tigers liked, even though he wasn't one of them. He was a thrashing dragon that fought with the fierceness of a Devil Tiger, and way back when they were first starting, he was a heavenly devil before he decided to cut ties with the Devil Tigers for reasons that were not necessarily explained. And he goes into the Golden Courts and then proceeds to kick ass. He goes to look around saying, I believe we fell because we're corrupt. And it's you who's doing it. And he points over at the Akuma, the corrupted version of the Kuei-Jin, and he starts cleaning house. He calls a guy New Pai, who has the deed name O Face the Eye of Heaven, who proceeds to be his investigator, finds out that the Chinese emperor himself is corrupted and possessed by a bane. They then fight him, kill the emperor of China, find out that he's in possession of the heretical text, the Broken-Winged Crane, which is like an evil scroll where if you read it, you become demon-possessed, destroyed it, and then managed to fight back against the Mongol horde, and Mulan was there, and Mushu was there, and everyone was happy at the end.
And General Shang was
really
there.
just went a mile a second there. Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, the book goes a mile a second there. That's a lot of history covered in a very small amount of time.
Yeah, it is.
We described like a time span that was give or take about 50 or so years of military occupation and warfare in about less than 2 whole paragraphs.
And when did England contact China again?
I think
The late 1700s / early 1800s.
I'm
Yes.
getting a year. I'm getting 1596.
really. Wow, it's a lot sooner than I thought.
So that is when the Kuei-Jin say that we entered the Fifth Age. They said the minute that white people were in China, that's when the Fifth Age began, which is the Age of Darkness that will eventually go into the Age of Sorrows. And they really did not like it, the Devil Tigers. As you'll come to find out, they were extremely nationalistic. We're not happy that all these white folks were in China. They called a conference, and that's when the Qing Kun actually formed. They decided they were going to have a base up in Peking, China, where Yu Huang will occasionally make himself manifest and give orders to the Kuei-Jin on how to conquer the world. And then they started selling opium to them. And the Manchu dynasty lost all of its mandated powers. The Devil Tigers went to take the fight to the white man, only for every other Dharma to tell them, no, don't do it. The Devil Tigers were looking over saying, what the fuck? We can take the fight to them today. We can fucking kill the British Empire today. They said, no. We're up against supernaturals we haven't seen before. You're only looking at the men. Take a look at the vampires that came with them. We don't even know what the Curse of Cain is supposed to be yet.
No.
Look at the vampires that came with them. Look at all the Bane spirits that we haven't seen before that came with them. These new mage traditions that we're not familiar with. No. The Resplendent Crane said, we are going to level grind. We are going to stay in Asia, get stronger amongst each other, bring each other up as well, make sure that everyone's on a level where when the Jade Emperor gives his command, we will spread out from China and none of our enemies will be strong enough to fight us. We can start fighting them today and have them progressively learn our secrets and ways to beat us, or we can pretend we don't exist, sit on our hands, study the enemy from a distance, learn their weaknesses, and then when we invade, there will be nothing they can do. A much smarter plan, isn't it?
Makes sense, yeah.
And the Devil Tigers did get a lot of recruitment during this period too, because through the power of racism, they appealed to everyone's power during this time and managed to get a huge recruitment drive during this part of Asian history. And then World War II happened. And the nuke fell on Japan. And every Devil Tiger...
something here.
Yeah, I certainly did, didn't I? But no, the book did too.
Yeah, we kind of forgot the Japanese invading China.
Yep.
Well, that happened. Of course, there was a whole back and forth where it was like a Kuei-Jin civil war because the Japanese were filled with Akuma during that time. The Kuei-Jin had lost the plot and were serving the Yama Kings. And then when the 2 nukes dropped, every Devil Tiger who was not Japanese was happy.
Yep.
I shit you not, they were happy about that. They said, yeah, fuck Japan. We hate this place.
Well, I mean, China and Japan have hated each other forever, so.
And there was a whole party across China, I shit you not, when the nukes fell, but they found out that that Nagasaki got bombed.
In their defense, you have events like the
rape in Nanking, yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, can we use those words?
I said it already.
We don't monetize this channel, so don't worry about it.
Alright, yeah, the rape of Nanking, what was it? I forgot the name of the
Unit 731.
Unit 731, yeah, that.
Yep.
All that shit. You went to India and you ate people.
Yep.
The fact...
Even Nazi Germany was like, bro, calm down.
Like, what the fuck even is this? We're putting people in gas chambers and you're doing this shit.
Have your generals play a game where they see how many people they can decapitate in one day, and then when they get put on war crime trial in a war crime court, their responses, well, we only actually decapitated 60 people each, not 100. We were
Yeah,
bluffing
how
a
would you
little
give him
bit.
credit where it's due, huh?
No, it wasn't that many. Come on. Who's keeping score?
And
We only put a gun against some people's heads and made them do unspeakable things with their kids.
And essentially, that's the end of Devil Tiger history there, but with the nuclear bombs, and it just goes into like basically like the modern age, like you can play anytime. I guess they were either like forgot or were possibly smart enough to keep the Chinese Revolution out of their mouths in this book.
Probably,
just
yeah.
forgot everything between 1946 and, 1990. Which year was this book first released?
Well, this was 1999, I believe I said before, but I'm presuming the Devil Tigers took part in that revolution.
Well, I mean, yeah, it seemed like a great way to bring more people to their side. I figure, you know.
We're going to put you in a state of suffering under communism. We're going to make your life worse by design under Red China, so you will, when you die and go to hell and you come back, be drawn to our side.
Yep.
That sounds like a hustle.
Yep. Here's what we're going to do, fellas. We're going to scare all the birds away and kill a bunch of them, create a fucking biblical locust swarm, and then all the people that die from malnourishment, we're going to put them in the mountains so demons can possess them.
There's also a guy in here, too, about playing the Kuei-Jin, where using Mind's Eye Theater, it says, like, honestly, when you play in the Devil Tiger, don't touch people, don't bring weapons, don't be on drugs when you're doing the live action roleplay. I guess someone did that in the past.
They wouldn't have had to include it in the book if that didn't happen.
Avoid, like, legal issues.
Where it's saying, play an evil character, but keep in mind that this isn't real. The book has to say that twice.
Yeah, there have been 2 disclaimers in this book about playing evil characters, which I don't even think was in the
Freak Legion.
Yeah, I don't think that was even in Freak Legion, which was kind of nuts to think about.
I guess the live action role playing community during this time was fucking wilding as shit. And that's
it's all those Swedes, man. I swear to God.
This was back before it was even the Swedes being the problem. It was mostly a Northwestern and Yankee kids.
Is that everybody from California had to ruin it for everybody again?
That and Canadians, apparently, but I could be hallucinating on that one.
Now, going over what we just read as well. Now, you might be thinking, I'm having this thought. Why did the Devil Tigers go along with the Respirant Karains? Well, it's because they have this whole apocalypse culture, Kyle. You know how there's supposed to be this emperor from hell that's going to emerge during apocalypse or Gehenna, according to the Kuei-Jin. He's going to rise up and start making the world worse for everybody. He's going to start forcibly conscripting people into this demon army. The Devil Tigers are waiting for that to happen. Yep. Very similar to how the Croatan were with the consumption worm, where they're in Asia waiting for this supposed evil emperor to rise up so they can go and fight it. And you're going to find out as we go further in this book just how prepared they are for that fight. Because it gets crazy with some of the descriptions of this.
They're like a bunch of doomsday preppers.
They're waiting for the consumption worm or either the defiler worm to return. They don't know if it's one of those 2 worms, but that's what it is. Or maybe it's the balance worm. That they're just waiting for him to appear, saying, yes, this is what heaven has told me to do. I will be the villain that crushes the previous idea of evil, the previous Satan, and then I will take his throne for myself.
Wasn't that one of the apocalypse scenarios?
Yeah. I think it's
that's a resolution of one of them, I think.
I think it is. Or like you kill the devil and you take his throne. That's the wet dream of the Devil Tigers. That you get to be the guy that does that.
They couldn't even beat a Gen 2 vampire. Come on.
Not even that. They haven't grown to that level of power yet. So I believe the term for this is called eschatology, where it's glory in the end times. We'll find our place in history will be at the end of history. Very similar to how the Shadow Lords view themselves today. That the Shadow Lords will rise in glory and greatness during the age of apocalypse. Meanwhile, you've spent your entire history just being the biggest fuck up in the incarnation. Okay, so I guess apocalypse will redeem you, Shadow Lords.
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe.
You gotta love how much the Shadow Lords fucking suck.
They really do, yeah.
But that's the whole theme with Devil Tigers. Is it making sense so far?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
evil. They set up evil colleges. They, had Qin Shi Huangdi there for some reason. And yeah, they're trying to make the world a slightly more evil place.
Like, the
Where
more I think about it, it's like the initial comparison with the Devil Tigers. If you took like Path of Night and fused it with Path of Kafari, for whatever reason, I'm getting a bit of like low key like Bahari Path of Lilith of vibes with them treating suffering and pain to be the ultimate force in the universe and be learned from and
well,
embraced.
there was one group that's in modern zeitgeist fiction right now that immediately came to my mind as I was reading this. Viltrumites.
I also got the kind of vibe of Xenobites.
Let us describe our future to you. We will wear your clothes. We will walk amongst our society. We will disappear amongst your population. That is dead ass what the Devil Tigers want to do. We're going to blend in with human society, be the evil in the society, and you will never know that it was us.
And the whole goal of that is to get really good at that, so when the actual, angel of death shows up in the end times, that you can, or the king of hell, so to speak, shows up, you can kick his ass.
Or if I may help you out, Kyle, very similar to how Wolf is in Star Fox, where, Wolf is of course an antagonistic character who's obsessed with the protagonist. But
Yes.
if a bigger threat like the Asteroid invasion or Emperor Angler appears, he's going to fight it and kill it so he can be the villain in Starlink.
Yes. There can be only one, and that will be him.
There can be only one villain poster child. Do you want this like haggard old monkey, or do you want to be this handsome devil wolf?
I mean, Wolf's kind of old too.
Yeah.
He's like a little bit younger than James.
He's old in the bad dad kind of way. He's like man who's on the hub in his 50s. Kind of shit.
That's kind of gross.
New soundboard.
The silver fox is a real thing, Kyle. You just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Well, I mean, that's what they say. That's what they said Colt is. So,
along with playing a Kuei-Jin Devil Tiger, the book says one thing in particular: you cannot be passive as a Devil Tiger. You need to play a dynamic character who is out looking for shit to start at all times. There always needs to be another plan, another scheme, another thing you're doing to keep a plot going. You need to have a character that is constantly moving. You cannot have like an Ichigo Kurosaki character where I'm just going to stay in place on my shelf until the plot happens, and then I get off my shelf and fix the plot. No, you're in the plot the entire time. Sometimes your character causes the villain to come into the story, and then you go in and then you fix the problem that you started. Hegelian dialectics. Incredible.
yes.
Where kind of the way that you play RPGs, you tend to play characters that are very passive by nature. Where Colt Mason didn't get involved with anything involving vampires until he got his job at the government. And even then, he needed Ragnar Ling to break him out of the Anarchs for him to finally start rebelling and being a hunter of his own kind again.
Yes.
Tyler Bassett needed to be appointed into a pack when we did New York by Night.
Yes.
And,
also true.
And then I'm struggling to think about what Kaminsky did when we were doing Mage.
Kaminsky, well, I mean, he was in the technically like the OSS. Not really the OSS.
I'm talking about more in terms of like story accomplishments, because most of that game was Victor.
A lot of it was. But most of it was a lot of espionage, a bit of sabotage. Although, as the plot went on, again, for a lot of that, I was trying to figure out why Tim was throwing up blood all the time.
But then, the thing is with it, is that the Devil Tigers would not be something that the book would say would be something for you to play, given the way that you play RPGs. The same way that the Resplendent Crane would not be something that I could play, because I don't play that kind of character. It's just difference in play styles.
Yes.
Where it's like different roles, different strokes, different folks when it comes to these RPGs. Where you would be more inclined to playing a Resplendent Crane or a Bone Flower, meanwhile I'd be playing as either a Devil Tiger or a Thrashing Dragon.
Yes.
When it comes to this kind of stuff. And then JoJo plays a character where you're kind of like in the middle when it comes to your play style. It depends on what the group is looking like.
Depending on the group, it's either I'm a actively proactive character that tries to push the plot forward, or a supportive member that has his own objective but actively tries to push everyone else forward.
And you
See
did
your
both with
flipping
Jim when you
shape.
did Orpheus.
Yeah, that character I was going to try to do something more self-centered, but then I saw at least two out of the other five players were already kind of self-centered characters.
And then you found out that the game was turning into Jujutsu Kaisen, and you found out you could do the Todo.
That I could boogie woogie. I wanted during that final fight when I got Flux to start popping off with Hakai's, but the way that played out couldn't pop off that way.
Exactly that. But I was surprised as to how efficient Jim was in combat.
Yes, it's because I'm good at playing a supportive role. I know what everyone else's powers were, so I found a way to combo off everyone else.
Exactly that. Synergy, my man.
Yeah. It's why you play TTRPGs. You play them as team games.
Yeah. You also have 5 flavors to your Devil Tiger, depending on. You remember how on the Kuei-Jin sheets where direction is a stat? We're not going to find out what that means, because that actively influences your mood, your character's vibe, so to speak, when you play as a character.
And it's all feng shui related.
We have the Northern Devil Tigers, known as the Heavenly Devil. This is your evil prosecutor. You are an administrator or some sort of magistrate who is doing what he can in power to screw everyone over. You're essentially playing as Kamala Harris, where you're trying to get the maximum sentence on everybody playing with people's lives like it's a game.
Basically, yeah.
I'm not saying she did this, but if you don't have the charges you're looking for, you're getting false testimony or planting evidence or forging evidence to get that maximum sentence that you're looking for. You're using paperwork to make the lives of everyone around you worse. That's the goal with these guys. If you're playing in, say, you were an actively evil Ventrue or Lasombra in Vampire, and now you're going into this game and you look at the Devil Tigers. This is what you want to go into. That's going to be your familiar territory.
You're basically like a Ventrue's main rival.
Exactly that. And you could, in circumstance, beat the Ventrue at their own game, because how many Ventrue own property in Asia?
Probably not all that many.
And that's the reason why, because in these Northern Devils, that's why.
And I presume here they would kind of own front organizations of like sweatshops and stuff.
You didn't have
own the land. They probably have a company that does.
A shell company?
Yeah.
Your southern version is called the Twice Crimson Tigers, who are fucking insane. Yep. These guys are the sword dancers and spearheads of the Kuei-Jin, meaning that these guys are never at peace. The quote being, "You were in heaven when you were in hell." You cannot be at peace with anything. If you're on the ridge, looking at the ocean with the sunset and the rainbows and the dolphins jumping, you're going to turn around and say, "Man, this is some bullshit."
Yep.
You're going to walk away from it.
Good old stink meaner.
Stink meaner Max.
They are
Jinx.
Yes. They're basically the exact opposite of the Northern. While the Northern are going to be a more lawful evil, using bureaucracy and legalese in order to fuck over the character, the South are just going to chuck a bomb in the office and run.
You are actively looking for conflict at all time. You are not at peace otherwise. If there is nothing for a Devil Tiger to do in terms of conflict, they will cause a conflict. Where, if I may do that Viltrumite analogy again, this is conquest in terms of characters. Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Yes.
I gave you orders. I gave you time. I gave you more leeway than most. But I see this planet isn't prepared. This region isn't prepared for the Devil Tiger's arrival.
Is
that
invisible?
Yes.
But at the same time, with these guys being the Southern Devils, they will not always kill you. If you're a guy who isn't a Ravnos, and you get into a fight with them, and then if that fight fucking sucked, these guys will leave you alive, turn around and leave, in hopes that you will get stronger and provide a better fight for them the next time they find you. That kind of fun stuff.
Yep.
You're like a Kuma from Street Fighter in the way they operate. Next up is the Eastern flavor, where they have 2 names. There's the Big Eye Cats, for those who don't want to say the full name, the Sin Devouring Devils. who are
Yeah, title
who are
goes hard.
guys that are actively looking for the unrighteous amongst them. These are villains that hunt villains. This is a serial killer, so to speak.
This is
Very
your
similar to
TX.
Thanatos, where you're going out and you're looking for specifically people in positions of power that you feel do not deserve the position of power. Politicians, career criminals, businessmen, mob bosses, anyone of questionable moral character that has a position of power. You are going in and you're either doing small little things to make their life worse until you cause a downfall, and or if that's impossible and there really is no way around it, you just kill them. Preferably you want to do both. You want to cause the downfall, you want to get them at their lowest point, and then you kill them.
Yep. Take everything they have, kick them down, and then kill them while they're down.
It's the Ethan Klein method of fighting people.
Basically.
Next up is the Western flavor, the Bone Tigers, or their other name, the Ghost Hunting Devils. So everything that we just said about the Eastern variant, switch it over to ghosts. They're looking for ghosts that have gone and turned into specters. They're trying to form Niles. They're trying to derail the flow of hell and the recruitment drives, cutting off that little passageway, that little underground railroad that they'll all run down to go back to Earth and go back into their bodies. If anyone is interrupting the process of creating Kuei-Jin on the other side, they're going in, they're getting it done, they're eliminating that ghost, sending it into the labyrinth, and preferably the abyss, if they have enough spite within them. Pretty good.
Yes.
You kind of have you need like a wraith-centered game for them to really work, but they're here if you want to use them. If all of your players just happen to make bone flowers for their game.
Well, or that, or if you're just if you're having a mage game where you have somebody with spirit, well, then you can probably throw a bone tiger in there.
You're going in to fight a ghost in the Shadowlands, only to find out that a Kuei-Jin has already fought that ghost and killed it.
Oh, that's actually kind of tough there.
Oblivion.
And finally,
Johnny,
in the middle,
do that for the mage game.
You could do that. In the middle, you got the Burning Thunder Sages or the Black Axis Scholars. These are your teachers, by the way. These are your villainous mentors. They're teaching brand new Kuei-Jin how to be villains. Your professor of evil, so to speak.
Yes, I do think it's interesting how the Kuei-Jin are somehow better organized than the Ventru.
And significantly more organized than Zamichi. Because do Zamichi even train new vampires?
No, they're just like, oh, hey, you can craft flesh and bone. Have fun, kid.
And unlike that, these guys don't need a Lasabra keeping them in check, because it looks like the Kuei-Jin Devil Tigers honestly have everything under control.
Pretty much, yeah.
When it comes to this. There's very few flaws in the armor, so to speak, when it comes to these guys. There's no area that they're really lacking in.
No, certainly not.
Which we'll bring up again in just another minute. I believe we are now getting close to we got 3 virtues.
Yes.
They have 3 things I want you to focus on. The 3 pillars to their group. Passion, pain, and righteousness. These are the 3 values amongst the Devil Tigers. Passion being, look, you went to hell for a reason. You jacked off too many times. You're addicted to alcohol. You gambled too much of your money away. You're here because of some sort of vice you did. All right? And it felt good. Fuck it. I don't want to be a good person. I want to do the thing that feels good.
Feel good to do bad things.
Out here just cult of ecstasy maxing in the most deranged
That's basically what they're doing, though. That's the weird thing.
It's the whole thing. So they're here. They're saying, we went to hell where we couldn't do any of that shit. We're back on Earth. Let's keep doing it. So if you feel like fucking, go ahead and do it. If you feel like gambling, go ahead and do it. If you feel like drinking, go ahead and do it. You're probably not going to feel anything because you're undead, but you can do it.
Just train for a while and you'll be able to feel things again. It's just the way Kuei-Jin work.
And they say, but do not become addicted to anything you're doing. Because an addict, when you're doing this kind of stuff, you're no longer doing this because it feels good. You're doing it because it's a compulsive behavior that you can't stop doing. It stopped becoming fun, and it became a routine or sometimes an obligation. Do not get to the point where you get to the point where you're thinking the first thing you wake up in the morning, when am I going to get my next drink in? When am I going to have my next orgasm? When am I going to get my next paycheck? When it gets to that kind of point, that's when it's no longer fun.
Yep.
You want to keep these vices feeling fun and fresh. And if you do too much of it at one time, or if you become obsessed with it, it stops being fun.
You know, everything in moderation. You do too much below UOD. You fuck too much, your dick falls off.
Which is, once again, does Michi do that?
I mean,
once again,
Way
this-
too often.
I mean, the Zamichi are different in the sense that, I mean, they're far more selfish with how they go about it. I mean, I don't think they really care for much as like general moral standing. They do what they do because they want to be the apex predator.
Exactly that.
That's their main thing. They're more Darwinist in their beliefs than the Kuei-Jin.
Because eventually the Zamichi find all that stuff to be boring, and then they're doing stuff like, let me just go ahead and rip your arm off and put it in my spine.
See, these are the guys responsible for Unit 731. That's not where an arm's supposed to go.
The Tremere would have been in charge of that.
Or almost like, not the Setites, but the Warriors of Light, in a way as well.
The Serpents of the Light?
Yeah, the Serpents of the Light, where it's not even about doing it for Set, it's just about doing it for yourself, but it doesn't please you anymore because of the Curse of Cain, so you're doing more and more depraved shit in order to chase those same highs. See, it's ultimately
like a really
not
abstract interpretation of Path of Paradox.
It's not fun to be a Serpent of Light. It is fun to be a Devil Tiger. That's the difference here.
Indeed.
Next up, pain. You want to cause it, but you want to cause it in the best possible way. So I can just say, kick you in the nuts right now, and I can cause you pain that way. Okay, let's think about this. How about I kick you in the nuts after you get fired from your job, after your girlfriend breaks up with you, after your parents cut off all ties with you, and then I kick you in the nuts? How much more painful and how much worse you're going to feel if I do that?
It's a cherry on top of a shit sundae.
Exactly. It's putting stack on top of stack on top of stack, where I know you're sick of me bringing them up. I'm going to say it. Ethan Ralph. When, to me, the need to really A-log and to go into that man, look at everything he did, stopped when he lost visitation to his son. Because that was a cherry on top. If he just lost visitation, that's one thing, he really doesn't give a fuck. But when that becomes the only thing he's waking up for in the morning, after he's already burned through one baby mama and one wife, after he's already a sex offender, after he's already seemingly lost his citizenship in America, after he already has all these different charges waiting for him back in America, when he comes back, all this debt, all this shit, living in Merida, Mexico with no friends, no way to speak the language, no job prospects, and now he's lost visitation, and then loses his citizenship at the same day. There we go. The punishment is now due. Your punishment for the wicked life that you lived is now paid. Story, stamp on it, over. As far as I'm concerned, as a sadist.
Rock bottom and rock bottom with concrete shoes, basically.
Exactly. When it forms a really good story, that's when the Devil Tigers will cause pain to you. After you have well and truly lost everything, and there is no way for you to get back up, that's when a Devil Tiger kills you. See, if you hit rock bottom and you can bounce back, they'll let you climb back up, just knock you back down again.
Yep.
But when you get to the point where you are broken and there's no way you're coming back to that point ever again or anything even resembling it, that's when they kill you. There's a Sabbat path that No Slumber followed, the Path of Night, that does almost the same thing. But the Path of Night forbids killing altogether. The Path of Night, amongst No Slumber, say, you are God's jailer. You're an angel of misery here on Earth to make life worse for everybody on Earth because Earth is hell. So you're going around making life worse for everybody, but you never kill as a La Sombra amongst that path. A Devil Tiger will, because they understand what hell is. They've been to it, and they got out of it.
So they know that's the only
more
place.
Devil Tigers.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
The only place lower than rock bottom is beneath where the rocks can fall.
And then finally, there is righteousness. Now, I might be thinking, what the fuck do you even mean by that? There's nothing righteous about this. Would you call a devil tiger a good person?
Oh, no.
But righteousness
Certainly not.
doesn't necessitate being a good person.
Yep. It is a perverse kind of righteousness where we're going to do the right thing by making sure that no one else does the evil thing that we're doing. You see, if anyone else did the evil thing we're going to do, they're going to do it wrong. They're going to fuck it up. Looking at Tremere over there, he's not even going to see the face of the guy that he kills with a lightning bolt.
No.
Or that black spiral dancer who's going to cause all these people to die of radiation exposure before actually giving them some sort of suffering. Or these Nefandi who just want to summon Satan and destroy the world and be done with it. They're doing it wrong. So we're going to find these guys who are doing evil the wrong way, or perhaps these idiots that think they're more evil than us, and we're going to show them how a real supervillain looks like.
Show me your motivation.
You're going to do the whole shtick where you somehow have your brain bots to form a giant version of your head, and then you fight the Superman in the middle of the city.
I mean, that would be neat, you know.
Megamind maxing over here.
Exactly that. Like, Megamind if he stayed evil, is what I'm thinking about.
That'd be kind of tough, though.
Yeah, it would.
He could get so much more shit done if he just, like, shut up and actually used the D-gun. I mean, you lost Death Battle for a reason, Megamind.
Oh, against
It
Gru?
lost because Death
Yeah, he got filtered by Gru.
That's kind of funny.
And yeah, that's all. That's the shtick, basically. And now we finally go into our relationship portion. Kyle, do you want to do this?
Yes. So, did you want me to go through like all the? Well, we already technically did all the factions, but should I perhaps quickly go through the heretical dharmas?
Well, we brought up what they think about the Resplendent Crane before in this section already.
Yes.
Where they don't see eye to eye, but they know why the Resplendent Cranes are here. And they do have a point where if we just kept spawning, eventually, like, the idea of evil would fall apart, give way to chaos, and then nobody would learn anything from that.
Precisely.
So
there is still a bitter rivalry that exists between the two, but much like how the Devil Tigers in general are necessary evil, they see each other as necessary evils.
Bring up what they think about the Thrashing Dragon.
So, they typically tend to share a far less cordial relationship with the Thrashing Dragons, even more so than the Cranes. There is a great emphasis on passion, but most see the dragons en masse as just degenerates who place any sort of self-gratification before spirituality.
Well, look who's calling who a degenerate here.
Yeah, Pot, have you met my friend Cattle? So to the heavenly devils, wickedness and perversity are holy duties. Meanwhile, the Thrashing Dragons do it mostly just because they can. And that, let me see if there was anything more about that. I don't think so. No.
Because here's the key difference here, JoJo. We talked about the Devil Tigers, and the idea is just being evil is the idea with the Devil Tigers. Being human is the idea with the Thrashing Dragons.
Yes.
You're with the Thrashing Dragons who say, look, I'm a human being, I'm of sin, I'm going to make mistakes, but you know what? I love myself, so it's okay.
Basically.
I'm not out to hurt anybody with what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it. Fuck it. I've been to hell.
A more interesting interpretation of Via Humanitas, or variant of it.
Because after all, the Thrashing Dragons went to hell. And they are not looking forward to going back there anytime soon. They love being alive. They love being on Earth. They don't want to go back there.
They got back, and instead of going, I understand, they went, oh my God, I'm alive. Kiss the sweet earth. Thank goodness I'm back.
And then the Devil Tigers say, so I learned a few things while I was in hell. Let me show you them.
And as Thrashing Dragon, I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to go on a week-long bender. I'll be back. Or
next
not.
up is the Boned Flowers, a.k.a. the Way of Shadows.
Yes. The Devil Tigers see them with a mixture of contempt and curiosity. They believe they're a part of a lesser yin virtue, and they're diametrically opposed to the Devil Tigers as the Dharma can possibly be. They're usually very strictly business-like. The Devil Tigers get information for the Bone Flowers. The Bone Flowers let the Devil Tigers go out and kill whoever they need to. They find violence actually surprisingly distasteful. Both groups sort of hold that distant contempt, but, you know, usually their interactions, as stated before, are very formal. And so there's a lot of different back and forth between the two. The Devils of Heaven think that they're annoyingly fleeting and yielding and very fascinating, however. And the Bone Flowers think that the Devil Tigers are crass and ignorant and very one note, but they also have a very repulsive sort of vibrancy that they're kind of intrigued by. They're very much opposites of each other, and they keep professional, but they typically are both intrigued and disgusted by one another.
Because the Bone Flower wants to say, I went to hell. Why? Not why am I here in hell. I mean, I know why. I must have done something wrong for me to be here. But why does this exist? And what determines who goes here and why? That's what they look into. The Bone Flower wants to understand evil as a means of coming to grips with what good and evil are supposed to be by quantifiable definition. A Devil Tiger doesn't give a fuck about that.
No, the Devil Tiger just wants to, bring people down and be the evil they wish to see in the world.
When you see rootless trees, that's another name for the Thousand Whispers, in case that confused you.
Yeah. I don't know. When I was reading this, I was like, damn, they are dropping just like a lot of terms on me that I've never heard before.
These books, all the Kuei-Jin books get really esoteric. I think that's part of the reason why nobody covers these.
Yeah. So it's a very complex relationship, the Devil Tigers and the rootless trees. There's, an odd bit of indifference despite the passion that exists between all of them. The path of the rootless trees originated with Grandharhat, and has produced what's known as a I'm probably going to butcher this word, bodhisattvas or bodhisattvas. That's it. Yeah. And they are seen as radically different than all the other dharmic paths. It's more than just words. Those who walk the road are remade in the agonies of Yomi, and the heavenly devils see themselves, meanwhile, as Kuei-Jin lost to the mortal world. So the rootless trees just sort of cling to a lot of the mortal ways. They walk Buddha's path. They live these fabricated lives. They basically just reject the path that they have been put on and try to resume normalcy despite all that they've been through. Some people call them cowards for this. Some people call them. Some people just don't really care about them. But most Devil's Tigers really don't care about the ruthless trees because they're kind of like the hollow ones of the Kuei-Jin in a way.
Well, it's because they operate on the same method as Zinch in 40K. Change. For the sake of change.
Yep.
Hey, this thing needs to be changed. Let's change it. Hey, I need a change. Let me change myself. Hey, you need a change because I say so. Let's change you.
I changed my vodka for the whiskey. That's why I
got this change. I'll have any change.
Change? Spare change?
I just gave you change.
That episode of South Park was actually really good. And then Cartman rolls up in that giant boombox with playing California, convince all the homeless people to go to California.
I miss South Park being funny. It's not funny anymore. It's just fucking TDS shit now.
I don't know. Me and my roommate were watching South Park in the hotel room when we went to Vegas, and it was actually a pretty good episode.
And granted, I've been recently diagnosed with TDS, so.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get better.
Suffer because of it. TDS is just Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, I know, and I'm wishing him well. I hope he recovers soon, and joins me and Sean in Camp Anarchy.
I live in a far leftist city where it's filled with people with it. It's like going black.
Homie, I'm literally an hour north of you. I feel the aftershock of that in my nice little town.
You should know. It's like going black. You can never go back.
There's so many pride flags in my city. You don't understand.
It's the reason we call Kyle the blackest white man we know.
I still don't have the pass. It's sad, really.
Yeah, I can assure you, with all the pride flags and stuff over here, I can assure you, at one point it made me actually sick of them until I figure out I was amongst them.
You do have that Baltimore Ravens jersey, and you do sag your pants, and you have your hat turned to the side when we walk down the street.
I mean, that is true. It was really hard to keep the pants up. And
Oh, I thought you were referring to yourself.
it's even worse. I have a Ray Rice Baltimore Ravens jersey.
I'm not getting an elevator with you.
You see here, if you're trying to black max, you need to grow some dreadlocks.
Oh,
you
dude,
need to go to prison.
No, I can't grow dreads. My hair is not long enough. My hair does not grow right for dreads. I could probably throw it up though. I'll get a perm or something like that.
Yeah, we can work with that.
Yeah,
Or just get cornroles. And you need to get a fat baby mama.
Oh, I'm in the
good.
I'm in the process of that. Give me a minute.
Okay, I have a sister or two I can loan to you.
Thanks, JoJo. I appreciate it.
I got nephews and nieces that need a stepdad.
Oh my God.
The heresies.
Yes, there are indeed a couple of heretical dharmas that, are somehow even worse than the evil people.
The flame of the rising phoenix, which says that the purpose of the second breath was to make restitution of crimes of one's life. So you're supposed to pay back all the crimes you did in life that the Kuei-Jin say is a bunch of pussy shit and that nobody should follow.
Yep.
Yeah,
and for trying to be a good person, you try to get hunted down and killed by the Kuei-Jin.
Specifically a devil tiger who would love to be the one to put the bullet in the back of your head.
Yep. Because they are heresy. They're not doing the thing that we told them to. They're trying to be a good person in the world of darkness. Unfathomable, unthinkable.
The Tempest of Inward Focus is heretical because they just copied Taoism verbatim and don't have an original thought in their heads.
So the NPC Devil Tiger is what they are.
Yes.
And then you've got the Face of the Gods, who believe they try to stop the hunt for the
it's because the Face of the Gods believe that they have a god complex when they come out of hell.
They believe that they are indeed gods. The Kuei-Jin and the Devil Tiger see them as just self-deluding fools. This is because they understand that this is precisely how the Wen Shui fell.
Yes. Yeah, there's something right about that.
Yes. And then go ahead.
Spirit of Living Earth, which is like the Kuei-Jin are shamans and they're basically like Chinese druids.
Yeah, sure, whatever. And so that about covers all of like the other dharmas involved in the Devil Tigers.
Yeah, they think everyone else is an idiot if you're a heretic.
Yeah. And then you have all of the stuff that goes in what they call as the floating world, which is sort of a mix between some of the stuff that happens past the Umbra, as well as some of the other factions. Like they talk about mortals a little bit. They talk about the Henge Yokai. They talk about wraiths. We'll get to that in just a minute. We're going to start out with specters, banes, and bakemono, which they all lump together into sort of the same thing.
Yes.
So it's important to remember that the Devil Tigers don't see themselves as acting like devils. They say that they are devils. They believe themselves to be just that. They're a divine celestial bureaucracy in charge of the punishment of wicked souls. And so one of the more... Actually, this is kind of a lengthy section, I realize. Goodness. What's weird about this is I don't know if they actually go very much into talking about specters, banes, and bakemono, which is weird because this is what this section is written about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't actually. It's kind of, I don't think it actually goes into a whole lot of what's going on here. Or maybe I just can't make heads or tails of it.
It goes to show in that case that Devil Tigers actually don't give that big of a shit unless they're Eastern. Western.
No, it doesn't appear that they really care all that much about specters, banes, and bakemono, which is weird because they brought it up a couple of times in the book.
They say just call us back if it concerns us. Like until then, we're just going to make life worse for everybody else.
Yeah. As far as people themselves, the masses, humans, mortals in general, there's two types to the Devil Tigers. There are those who are righteous and those who sin. For the devils of heaven, the line between sin and righteousness is a very, very fine one and often difficult to locate. Few tigers find this to be a paralyzing issue and will just sort of go for it regardless. But unlike the resplendent cranes, most vampires of the Devil Tiger Dharma view sin and inequity as just inescapable components of the human condition. That's just a part of life. And, if they are a sinner, we're going to drag them down and beat the shit out of them until they decide that life isn't worth living anymore and eventually go to hell. They don't have like this exhaustive catalog of sins and prescribed punishments. It's sort of on a case-to-case basis. It's really how they see fit in going about their duty to punish the wicked, to tear them down, and bring them to their absolute lowest point, in which hell is the only recourse. They do also go over slightly more detail in Giren, which I believe is their word for Fomori, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And so they basically go about, the process of locating them, tracking them down, and also, tear them down, as well as try and find a way to, enslave the Bane for their own purposes.
Right. But where basically you're over here looking at this chud Fomori that can do like half the shit that you can, and you just say, "Here, let me just put you out of your misery, my guy."
Pretty much, yeah.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
Yep. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about when they come to the truly wicked, however. Yeah, I mean, you figured that would be what the
Fomori would be
are for, but they don't really go into a whole lot of into detail.
Well,
about
it's just a category of like what they deem as like completely irredeemable people that are trying to out evil them.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's what we were saying before, where they really don't like it if someone claims to be more evil than them.
Basically, yeah, that's what this is. I mean, you've got the Bakemono, you've got the Banren-gui, you've got some Dampiers.
Reminder everybody at home, Chi-Mei is what they call their new Kuei-Jin.
Yes.
They're neonates.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically the name that they have for them. And so
they have a ritual for them known as the infant devil civilizing. And it's considered as much of a sport as a punishment.
Outside.
No, we cannot. We're good.
Good.
So after they bring them into the infant devil civilizing societies, then it starts, their whole training where they basically start learning about, well, they actually have like something called a hin. That's like a bunch of different questions. They have, successful application of restoring the dharmic balance, and they're questioned and evaluated. They have their horoscopes drawn, the directions determined, and their spiritual balance. All of that's decided after the ritual there. And then they are put through a ray by their captors, which is, extensive network of volunteer teachers of the Devil Tigers. And they, from there, are basically, from their path, their horoscopes, their dharmic balance, are start to be put on the path of what will eventually make them into be Devil Tigers. Those that show no sympathy to the Chi-Mei and who do not respond to restoring the dharmic balance, they have incurred the ultimate wrath of heaven. They are torn from the great cycle entirely, and they are destined to live again as feral hunting dogs or other vampires until they eventually meet final death. So there is actually a punishment for being unkind to the Chi-Mei.
Because here's the whole unity amongst the two. You can just be a villain by yourself, or we can do the Legion of Doom.
Yes.
Which sounds better to you?
Well, Legion of Doom has cookies.
Because keep in mind, how many different characters in World of Darkness are named villains that have tried to do it on their own and have been smacked down for doing so?
Quite a
few. Too many to count.
Yes.
Moncada, for example, here.
Or, for example, with the Apocalypse, the Storm Eater.
Yes.
Where he was the antagonist of Wild West, but he was still killed.
Yep.
Still put down with everyone else. And after all, Vormos gets what was coming his way in Ascension in all scenarios.
Yeah. And then you also have a whole subsection here on the Dampiers and the Banren-gui, which, if I'm not mistaken, Dampiers are ghouls.
It's a Kuei-Jin that gets a woman pregnant, and it's like a half vampire baby.
Basically, a Dampier in the conventional definition.
Yeah. So most Devil Tigers are notably reluctant to create a Dampier. They, don't really have any quarrels about coupling with humans, but, they tend to find the unions rather problematic, as it sometimes creates some problems for the mortals that they're trying to feed off of. And then the offspring of the Kuei-Ren are usually born entirely innocent. However, raising a Dhampir solely to participate in the wickedness is deeply disrespectful to the Devil Tiger sense of propriety. As far as the process, half-devil people are born as Bakemono. They're naturally loyal to the Devil Tiger, who caused them to be created inherently evil. However, the Banren Gui have very short lifestyles compared to Dhampirs, a normal mortal lifespan, more or less, compared to a Dhampir who will happen to live a longer life, and the fact that they're half vampire. They're born as
We get
children.
a depiction of one on this page as well with the fucking like octopus baby.
Yes, it's all fucked up and terrifying looking. So Bakemono gifts are very powerful and can naturally be concealed inside the body and superficially indistinguishable from a normal mortal. But the half devil people are not half vampire, so they cannot learn some of the unique gifts that are inherent to
Thank fuck, because I'll be too strong.
Yes, it would. I'm sure some
We have to
Pentex exec is
handicap the
trying to find a way to
Metagamers
synthesize
somehow.
the two, but we're gonna hope that never happens. The Yama Kings.
The antagonist.
Yes. So the Wanshan were charged to protect the Middle Kingdom from the depredations of the Yama Kings, and was the blandishments of the Lord Yomi that led the 10,000 immortals down the path of decadence and disgrace that eventually led to the One Kuei and eventually the Kuei-Jin. Yet the Celestial Devils that bear the Yama King, the Celestial Devils hate the Yama Kings more than quite literally everything else. In the Yama King's pursuit for spiritual power, they have abandoned their mandate from heaven and are now... and the Devil Tigers now feel themselves they have an inherent duty to try and destroy the Yama Kings for their failure to fulfill their mandate from heaven and for causing the downfall of the Wanxian. It's pretty straightforward. They hate the shit out of them. They want to kill literally all of them.
Oh yeah, they're waiting for Time's of Judgment to come around because they want to give these guys a piece of their mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
They want
You're
to
waiting
fight
outside the Yama
Satan.
King's door with a crowbar in your hand after you just smash his mailbox.
Yes. And the only
I got-
thing they hate more than the Yama Kings are the Akuma.
The Kuei-Jin who have lost the plot and are now serving the Yama Kings, rightly.
Exactly. The people that are just enslaved by the Yama Kings and have, much like the Yama Kings, also abandoned their heavenly duty. Matter of fact, Akuma hunting is seen as a dharmic tradition as a part of the infant devil civilizing or just torture of sinning.
Yeah, part of your rite of passage is it's very much like a werewolf.
Yes.
They want you to kill an Akuma before you become a devil tiger.
Yes. That's your last thing to show that you are willing and strong enough to kill somebody with the exact same ability as you in order to make sure that you have what it takes in order to fulfill your mandate from heaven. There's this whole section on the 6th stage, but I don't know if that's necessarily...
Nah, we
part of
can
the
skip that. We can skip that.
As far as the Henge Yokai, the other shape changers, there is a very strict diplomacy that runs between the Devil Tigers and the Henge Yokai, between the courts of the Emerald Mother and the Kuei-Jin. They coexist in a sort of relative peace. Some Kitsune and Tengu even have ties with the Black Iron Talons. But diplomats aside, the average shape changer wants nothing to do with the Devil Tigers. They reek of the worm, and it is their professed intention to destroy the Emerald Mother in the coming age, which is why the Henge Yokai hate the shit out of them, but are willing to work with them for the time being. Though some of the wise heads may say that, fire opens up the forest for new growth, the rage and ideals make the conflict between them eventually inevitable. The Henge Yokai exist specifically to defend the Earth Mother, and the Devil Tigers are unmistakably a menace in need of fighting because they serve the worm. So there are still scattered outbreaks of violence between them, but usually they are eventually resolved by their diplomacy, even though, the Henge Yokai will always continue to see the Devil Tigers as nothing more as, minions of what the book reads as the harmoniously annihilating centipede, which I think is somehow a much cooler description of the worm.
That's one thing to call the balance worm.
Yes, pretty much.
It's the thing here because, ironically enough, the Devil Tigers, as we just described, are hunting and killing Banes, which is something that the Stargazers aren't doing because they gave up.
And they could have been too, but they're not because they suck.
Well, it's because the Devil Tigers also won't share the glory with anybody. If the Stargazers tried getting down and tried fighting the Banes with the Devil Tigers would just kill them.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's it. We're not working with you. And any sort of diplomacy relationships between them and the Werewolf Nation as a whole would never go anywhere because the Devil Tigers are just that prickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned before they're nationalistic. They are very nationalistic. They don't like white people. They don't like black people.
No.
They prefer it if you're Asian, if they want to deal with it and do any
And
business
we
with
don't
you
like
at all.
you too.
But on top of that too, that extends to other supernaturals because a Kuei-Jin Devil Tiger does not want to work with anyone who's not a Kuei-Jin Devil Tiger or just Kuei-Jin in general.
Yes. The one thing I am a little bit confused upon, and I'm still not entirely sure what these guys are supposed to be. What are the Hsien?
Eastern changelings.
Understood.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're they really don't have like a whole lot to say about these guys.
They got in a fight years ago, and the fight went nowhere.
Yeah, basically. So I mean that's just a section that's just kind of there. There really isn't.
And then if they look over at a ferry, they tell them to fuck off.
Pretty much. I mean, they know that they tried to fight Ravnos and failed miserably because it's fucking Ravnos.
You're not winning that fight no matter who you are.
Certainly not. No. The technocracy tried, and it's still up for debate if they even succeeded.
Mm-hmm. I think the only ones that could really beat Ravnos are Lasombra, Set, and Zamichi, and then that's it.
Well, I mean, Zamichi is, again, an apocalypse scenario. Malkav, well, not Malkav, but
depends
Set's
on
gone.
how you scale Demutation 10.
Lasombra's busy listening to My Chemical Romance albums at the bottom of the Mariana Trench for all
50
eternity.
Days Grace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dead, otherwise known as wraiths.
The other rates.
Yes. Kuei-Jin find themselves as basically cousins to the Restless Dead. They're no strangers to the Yellow Springs. They interact with ghosts in very high-handed fashion. While they are Shen, ghosts really don't have any place in the celestial bureaucracy as far as the Kuei-Jin are concerned. And young ones are actually fairly weak. So theoretically, with the exception of Kuei and some spectral menaces, the Kuei-Jin are basically forbidden to ever deal with wraiths. They can
just fuck off, kid. Just get out of my way, kid.
Yeah, well, they can occasionally, bribe an official with jade in order to, exchange information with the dead because the dead know quite a lot. Usually it's difficult for them to try and get to that point in which they can do so. So for the most part, they tend to leave them alone because there really isn't much of a point getting in that much trouble with the rest of the Kuei-Jin officials.
Smart move, right?
Yes, probably smart to avoid that. Oh God, what the hell is the Chinta?
The Chinta.
Yeah, they call it dragon wizards, and wait, these are just mages.
Mages, yeah.
Yeah, so they tend to dislike them.
Everyone dislikes them.
Yeah, they're not a fan of them. Particularly the fact that, they're incredibly well ordered. They, tend to, they're a bit arrogant. They obey forms and leave the devils of heaven to their own tasks. Though they do see they'd see the Akashic Brotherhood as a bunch of self-righteous fools. They pity the Akashic Nephandas who have fallen. And they have something called the Five Metal Dragons. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
It's a more esoteric shit we don't have to worry about.
Yeah, so they just think that the wizards are full of themselves and they don't really like them all that much.
Well, that goes to show with just about everybody's relationships with mages in World of Darkness, where as JoJo can point out to you in Mage, there is no empathy stat on the sheet.
Well, no, because
for
you're
a reason.
literally better than everybody else. By
Yes,
design.
because you're just this magnanimous asshole who's just ambitious by design. Every mage has this. Every mage by character creation and by the nature of you being a mage is prideful. So it's no fucking wonder why the rest of World of Darkness has such a low opinion of you, because you have such a high opinion of yourself.
Basically,
It doesn't also help, thanks to you being a bunch of self-righteous assholes. You don't want to work with everyone else, despite the fact if Mage worked with any one Mage tradition, worked with any other splat, half the issues in the World of Darkness just would not exist.
Basically,
Exactly
yeah.
that, yes.
Fucking
reason
Dream
why-
Speakers just work with Garu Nation. It would be fucking Werewolf finishing the job that was already finished like 100 years ago.
Well, as we pointed out in that mage game, the Graf Fenris won't work with you because it's more of a my way kind of thing. We need the
Because-
personal glory to ourselves.
Because you're dumb as fuck. Fuck.
This
It
is
needs
why
to
the
be
cat
us
shouldn't
who
be
does
in
the
charge of
job.
shit, okay? It's for that
And
specific
then,
reason.
but even then, that excludes the Yuktana, the Children of Gaia, the Stargazers. There's at least Silent Striders. 4 tribes are
Bonars.
more than reason. 4 bone gnawers, 5 tribes there that are more than reasonable enough to operate with mages. And even then, you would expect, at least for some traditions of the Kuei-Jin as a whole, to at least be cordial. Say here to you, Thanatos.
Yes.
Not with
Yes.
this. Of course, not with the Devil Tigers. Absolutely and utterly not.
Not now these dudes.
Certainly
Now,
not.
this case-
Fucking Dream Speakers.
Hey, bro,
Certain
that's a nice
denominations
melee
of the
roll. How about you
choristers.
re-roll all of that?
I'm telling you, entropy is a bitch.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I'm learning it.
Why you could have taken the time sphere and then you didn't.
That was a high probability. But probability shifted to entropy.
Entropy's based. You should use it.
Yeah, I would have taken time, but you don't give us enough XP.
Well,
Then
there we
do
go.
more.
You should have put all of your points in XP into the time sphere from the get-go.
Uh,
But it wasn't
No,
thematically fitting, but that's your no there.
Now, I
Okay.
need to specify something for you, Kyle, before we go into Witch Hunters.
yes.
Those are imbued that go off of different rules.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Even though I think that the idea is similar, it's different.
Where
Go ahead.
I'm trying to pull up the name of the book for you. Hunter Reckoning. I think it's either called Demon X or it's Hunter X.
Is
That's
that
called
the Eastern version of Hunter?
Demon Hunter X. That's what the book is called.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Which has got a lot more crazy ass shit you can do.
I was about to say it's a joke Demon Slayer from Wish.com, but no, Demon Slayer is Hunter X from Wish.com.
This is like full on anime bullshit powers you can do with it.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's Eastern in nature. They have to be anime powers.
Where, yeah, that book is it came out in 1998, and the cover of it says everything you need to know.
Hang on, did you post the cover? Hang on, let me see.
No, hang on a minute.
Let's
So
see.
here's the drive-through RPG link in Stereo Notes.
All right, let's
Just get that a little click.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go. I mean, that looks kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I can pull that up on the other screen, but that's really cool.
And this entire book, so when it comes to these powers, it's imbued, but it's a different kind of imbued.
Yeah. So, with the witch hunters, they have an interesting relationship with the devil tigers. They're easily the most common target of an amateur. Devil tigers are usually the easiest target of an amateur witch hunter. She rarely quarrel with the heavenly devils. What?
No, keep going.
So, typically the idea is that she hunt Shen who have overstepped the bounds of heaven set for them. Meanwhile, the devil tigers hunt the mortals who have overstepped those boundaries. So there's sort of like a push and pull on either side. Unlike many Kuei-Jin, the devil tigers actually have long since forgiven the Shi for the burning of their books. Both sides have overstepped boundaries. Both sides were punished for transgressions, and they are known to pass information back and forth and work together on occasion. Many will pass money, assistance to the Shi wherever they can, and either openly or covertly see them as, fellow warriors of righteousness down on their luck, which is an interesting way to look at them. However good their relationships are, the Devil Tigers learn to deal with the hunters as part of basic training. Sooner or later, a Devil Tiger will have to face an intolerant holy man or a vice cop who won't take his bribe, go home to the vengeful family, or, the center of associates or former business rival. There's a whole bunch of different things that could possibly come in order to make them try to fight each other. And so while some hunters can be subverted or frightened or shoot away, some have a tendency to be a little bit more determined and will eventually lead to a pretty tough fight for them.
I'm forgetting about this. I forgot how fucking crazy Demon Hunter X is, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Let me just post the serial notes, this picture.
Let's
This
see
picture here.
Oh, my God. You know what this is? This is that video. I'm the strongest motherfucker in the world, bitch. And he grabs him and it's just like his eyes pop out. This blood comes out of his head.
Because I'm also reading, this is the same group that is cutting off their limbs and replacing them with cybernetics just to be better fighters.
Well, hell
That's the most anime shit to exist.
On top of that, too, they have psychic powers that directly influence computers as well.
And this
They
is
just have
this is in Hunter
technomancy,
X,
just
right?
fucking
Yeah, along that they can
incredible.
just fly as a first level power by just walking in air.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
This book is crazy. This book is crazy with what's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on one hand, it's fun as hell. On the other hand, it is the issue of people trying to treat World of Darkness as a superhero simulator.
Like, once again, this is what I said. Just fuck it. We made something crazy. Just do the crazy game. just do it.
Well, that's what HOL
Which
is
immediately
about.
is fun.
We've got to do an episode on this book soon. We
Yes.
got to do this. I'm looking at artwork in this book. It's written by Jim Moore. Oh, we gotta do it. We gotta do it soon.
Well, we found out what we're doing next month. Shit. Okay.
More Kuei-Jin shit, and then we also gotta do this book.
Yep. The Chinta. Wait, did I already? Oh, I already went over the Chinta. The
Yeah, we went over that.
Kuei-Jin is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's important to
The
know.
K-Knights, by the way.
Yes, why the Kuei-Jin are intolerant to the Kinjin. It's important to remember that they don't see them as fellow vampires. The Wan Kuei are descendants of the 10,000 Immortals, and though ruined and disgraced, they still hold a station in the celestial bureaucracy. The K-Knights they see are degenerates, freaks, parasites cursed by the legacy of a homicidal farmer. That's just cold. To say they're the same thing is to call a dog and a person the same thing because they both have 4 limbs and hair.
They advocate for the two-fanged serpent war plan for these guys, aka fucking kill the K-Knights.
Yeah, that sounds
Which-
about right. I feel like these guys would get
by
along with the
engaging
Sabbat.
with that plan. They would get along with the Assamites. It's still
Well,
be
yeah,
mortal
that's true.
enemies of the Sabbat. Remember, the Sabbat are vampiric supremacists, but
Mhm.
only in the case of members of the Sabbat. They don't even view other members of the Camarilla Anarchs as vampires.
Well, at this
That's
point in the
true.
meta plot, they don't know the Spot exists yet. They aren't really familiar with the Camarilla and Anarchs.
Also true.
Well, that's a bit of issue of World of Darkness cosmology, because it has contradictory sources with that, with Sabbat's second edition saying here they have outposts in Hong Kong and a pack in Japan or something like
And then the
that.
Sabbat in that area didn't live long enough for the Kuei-Jin to learn what they were.
Probably not, no. See, that's the only problem with, the Kuei-Jin strategy of trying to learn from afar. If you never actually get into a fight to figure out what you can and can't do, are you really going to have, yeah, sure, you deny the enemy intel, but you're also denying yourself intel.
Is this either going to be a massive sweep if the Kuei-Jin attack, or it's going to be the biggest paper tiger? One or two.
Given that we said that the Kuei-Jin are not as strong as we originally thought, I'm voting on the latter.
I think it's more that they're smarter than stronger.
It's
when it
the
comes
fact
to
they're more organized and it's more so a meritocracy. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of princes and archbishops that are purely there because of their lineage or just
Yes.
because they're in the right place at the right time is, like, horrendous.
It
And the
is.
place in the Kuei-Jin, where your position in the hierarchy almost exclusively determined off of how far you will path of enlightenment.
Small amendment. Bakemono is what they call Fumori.
That's what I thought.
Okay. The small amendment in this video. All right.
Yeah. So not the Gui Ren. That's something else, or the
Yeah.
Rengui.
Shall we go ahead and talk about the factions?
Yes, please.
You want to do it now? Let's talk about factions. Let's go ahead and let's break it down to factions.
Okay.
All right. So when it comes to this, we have two major groups, and the other ones are just kind of small in comparison. Now, the greater sect, the biggest one of all of them, is the August Body of Sagacious Devils. You remember I mentioned these guys before?
Yes.
This is Evil University. They're going to teach you how to be a proper supervillain. There is a codex to this. There is a way to be the biggest bad guy you can be. And they're entirely hierarchical. Now, you get promoted by meritocracy. They go through this whole review process. You apply for the position where they select you. You then are brought in for a test, and the best candidate gets the job. Simple, right? But without the Camarillas' whole bullshit of, oh, you'll eventually get promoted into that position if you work hard enough, and then the elders actively prevent you from getting into that position. So basically, the Republican Party in 2026 is what it is.
Yeah,
Getting
basically.
political again.
It's a political game. We gotta get political with this. But by the way, it's a group that says it is not good enough for you to just be this strong, sexy badass. No. We're going to teach you other skills that you need to be the villain that you need to be. Kyle, you remember that the Revolutionary War in America started turning around when they figured out how the fuck soap worked? For example.
Well, I mean, yeah, but well, actually, no. That's the first I'm hearing of this.
Cliff Notes version. Oh, sorry, Johnny. You wanted to say.
Well, no, you say you're the one that went to high school. You're the one. knows this.
So many throughout history, more people during wars died from disease and starvation than actual fighting. So through solving you're solving that issue during the Civil War, or by handing out soap to your soldiers, just like wash themselves, as well as to their doctors. It saved thousands of lives, preventing allowing soldiers that would have died to be able to get back on the front lines.
Exactly that. You need to be smart. You need to be clever. You need an understanding before you can be this villain that you need to be. Where you're in this school for fucking years. You need to be around like rank 2 or 3 within the Kuei-Jin before you're even available for graduation, and then you can go off and be your own man that can then help spread the Sagacious Devils school, and you become a mentor, teach other Kuei-Jin how to be a perfect Devil Tiger, or you're trying to be a recruiter that's going to get other Devil Tigers into your fold, or you're just a better you, so to speak. It's all about personal improvement. Something I can actually get behind with the with the Devil Tigers and all.
Yes.
In all honesty. Now,
for whatever reason,
what?
If you don't mind for me bring something quickly up, just like on like the previous note of like the whole Kuei-Jin fighting the western vampires.
Yes.
Now that just made me notice something again with the actual standards of a Kuei-Jin are significantly higher with actual education.
Oh, hell yes.
Even in Dark Ages, the most you got was maybe a decade underneath your sire in comparison to this, where it's like at minimum 100-year mentorship.
Like with the Sabat, him in the head with a shovel, that's your training program.
Basically, yeah. It's called a shovel.
Throw him out
Maybe if you're like
out
a
the city.
Lasombra, maybe if you're a Venture Anti-Tribu, you get a year or two.
Dude, the Bruja train you.
Hell fucking no.
No, you're given an Uzi and told to go shoot a politician.
They drop you off at the post office and then drive away.
And don't even ask whatever the hell the Malkavians are doing. No, funnily enough, the only clan that actually trains you, the only clan that trains you is the Nosferatu consistently, or at least
now,
that
if you want to know what I mean about personal improvement, they have realized that they're living in a world that's constantly changing. The world does not stay the way it is forever. If I may quote Ghost in the Shell, There's a different approach to every situation, and if we breed in specialization, we will form a weakness in doing so. It is a slow death. You have become so focused on brutal warfare that you can no longer account for an enemy that is smarter than you. Ratkin, Geth, Fenris, Shadow Lords, yourself phrase. Basically, the entirety of the Garnation.
Bro, drink some water.
Exactly that. I'm just choking out. I don't know what's going on.
Spitting too many facts.
Now, to prove what I mean by this, basic firearm training became a regulatory practice for the Devil Tigers and the Sagacious Devils in 1891. There is no Devil Tiger in this group that does not know what a gun is and how to shoot one. And then learning how to use a computer became standardized in 1985, where these are guys that are teaching you what the internet is and how it works. Basic chemistry in your periodic table, biology and anatomy, physics and how shit's supposed to fall. And along with trajectory, trigonometry, learning how to shoot without a scope, learning how to use a catapult, data security, modern espionage tactics, forensic technology, basic office applications, modern administrative procedures, current political, macro, and microeconomics, along with the art of armed and unarmed martial arts. How to torture somebody for information and get results, not a civilian interrogation where you accidentally kill the guy. Human espionage techniques, classical human and Kuei-Jin scholarship, penmanship, you have to have good handwriting, etiquette, linguistics, and art. They want you to be a man of every talent. You're not allowed to be bad at anything. You will be good at everything and great at something in particular. Now, how hard of an enemy is that going to be to fight?
Well, it actually tells you because on that same page, it actually lists a handy-dandy guide about the different ranks of
a
the
monster
Dharma.
manual.
Yes.
At long fucking last, one of these books has one of these.
And it actually gives you all of these stats for all the different ranks of a Devil Tiger, from apprentice
and look how
all
much
the
you're
way to
already
sagacious.
How much you're sweating at Dharma 5, and then it gets stupid at Dharma 6.
Yeah, it does. Like, already a talented Devil Tiger is just scary.
And then when you go over into Sagacious at the Dharma rank, the Bodhisattvas, take a look at that. That is like 10 dice minimum on their attacks.
Yeah, that is some bullshit.
Along with everything else they're good at too, where there's nothing a Devil Tiger is bad at. You're good at everything. And if you're bad at something, the Devil Tigers are going to fix that. This is something that the Curse of Cain can't do. You're static as a member of the Kindred or Cainites. Because after all, that is the nature of the Curse of Cain. It forever sticks you in that moment. The age you are embraced at is the age you'll be forever. Meanwhile, a Devil Tiger can adapt and evolve. They eventually learn new stuff because you might be who you are at that period, but you will still age mentally. Not physically, mentally. You will eventually improve, and you will realize the strategies that you used before that did not work, and will find a way around that. Meanwhile, your enemies amongst the Lasombra and Zamichi will be who they are forever. And Lasombra, by their nature, because of the blood within them, will always be avaricious and prideful. A Zamichi will always lose an appetite for being human and will always become a monster. A Devil Tiger, meanwhile, is allowed to reinvent themselves and will always be a fresh new threat that you can never predict. A Cainite vampire is predictable, a Kuei-Jin isn't, which is why this is a more dangerous enemy compared to the Zamichi as a whole, or Sabat as a whole.
Yes.
It really is just the Zamichi, but better and smarter. Now,
I'm you, but stronger.
Exactly that. But at the same time, the power ceiling is different because a Zamichi can immediately get in and start cleaning house on Embrace. The power ceiling is much higher with the Devil Tiger, but once you hit that ceiling, there's very little that can knock you off of it.
Yep. It's getting there is the hard part.
As for their ranks, of course, as you see on the side over there, the ranks as well. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ranks. Going from apprentice to journeyman to skillful to sturdy to talented to wise to sagacious.
Yes.
The more talented you are, the higher you'll rise in rank. And if you're the most talented person, theoretically, you'll be the one who's leading the school. Which, Honestly, sounds like a pretty good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you get the most experienced and most qualified person to teach all the new people how to be just as experienced and qualified as you.
It's almost like the Kuei-Jin are actually sustainable.
Yeah, funny that, right?
But if you don't want to go to school and you want to go to church instead, the Righteous Societies are yours, aka the Thousand Embers, which is a very loose, multi-denominational group. They're not a mega church. They just say, here's our doctrine, here's the codex on how to be a devil tiger, go learn it, go teach it to everyone else. And these will go from groups of either 2 to 30, but they're usually around 8 to 14. And they always want to have an even number, because you're at least familiar with the Mafia concept of the Blood Brother, or in Yakuza's terms, the Aniki, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because they do that. They want you to form a permanent partnership with a member of the Devil Tigers. It's not necessarily man and woman. Sometimes it's man and man. Sometimes it's woman and woman. But it's not like a marriage. This is your study partner that you will have for life. If they die, you did get you a new partner. But you are to improve each other. We're going to find a guy that's on the same level of skill as you at something. And then you will bounce off of each other and improve. Because we will not reach enlightenment alone. We need each other to learn the Devil Tiger doctrine, and we will all ascend together. No man left behind, and now you're starting to win me over with these guys.
Yep. You basically get a battle buddy as a Kuei-Jin.
Mm-hmm. You will learn the doctrine together. You will teach each other this. Every time he gains XP and develops a new skill or attribute, you do as well. It is basically what Blood Brothers in the Sabbat should be.
Yes, but without the racism. Well, with a different variety of racism.
Yeah, instead of being a skinhead, you're a Chinese nationalist.
Yep.
And here's the thing. You remember the Apocalypse Cult stuff I was mentioning before? Most of it comes from these guys, and they are prepared for this. So you remember that veil that Baba Yaga made around Russia during 1991?
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, she caught some devil tigers in that, and she didn't realize that were of this religion. Those devil tigers noticed that the Iron Curtain fell, went into Moscow and St. Petersburg, found nuclear warheads, and stole them.
Oh boy.
And here's the better part. Because I read Transylvania Chronicles, that means that these guys fought the Niktuku and won.
Okay, all right. See, I was talking some mad shit for not being able to beat Ravnos, but no, that's terrifying.
As it turns out, you beat Absimiliard's personal guard who wanted those nukes. You then held them off for 10 years until the veil lowered. You then went back to China, found out how these were made, and when China started its nuclear program, you found out how to replicate these, and you already had a head start in it. So they know how to make dirty bombs and mass produce them. And they have bombs, plural. These little mini nukes they've reverse engineered, along with all these different biological bombs that they stole from 23andMe, that turns out the Soviets were making beforehand, and they have a whole gene bomb. They have bombs that will target DNA based off of race or sex or ethnicity, and they have planted those all around the world. And when Gehenna starts, they will start sending them off, along with the nukes. And then on smaller scale issues, they have stuff for that too. Neurotoxin. And these guys have already set up for Gehenna because they already have a Judgment Day prepared. When the time of judgment does come in the World of Darkness, they are going to start sending those detonators off as to immediately cut off the Emperor of Hell from getting new recruits. This guy is supposed to be going around forcibly conscripting humanity onto his side. Well, what if we just kill the humans when he appears?
Well, I mean, they were going back to hell anyway, so that's as good a plan as any.
They're going to starve.
Issue with that also is that when you do stuff, you start causing the great maelstroms and shadowlands and killing that many people at once to start summoning like the Beast of War.
Oh, it's the end times. It's the Age of Sorrow. He's already here. Go ahead and do it.
But just surge him in power.
What have you got to lose?
Literally to what's left of the world, I guess.
After that, so it's a full-blown apocalypse cult based on this religion of evil. Now you have me sold on the Devil Tigers. Now I want to use these guys. I honestly love this shit, man.
Yeah.
Like I
Good
said,
lord.
just put them in the mage game. They're incredible.
Well, we got too many supernaturals. Next game. Next time.
Fair.
And now we have the lesser sex that don't get as much favor, but they have their own important jobs, like the Black Earned Talons, who are your hunters of other kind. Specifically Akuma. These are guys who are looking around for Akuma. The Kuei-Jin have fallen and have betrayed the sect as a whole, and they're killing them. But not just them, because they're also hunting the evil versions of the Ananasi. They know the Ananasi exist, and they hunt them, along with Asian Black Sparrow Dancers, Nefandi, and Spectres. These are supernaturals that can successfully hunt down and kill their supernaturals, and are starting to consider going after fallen demons.
Oh. Wow, okay.
That's the crazy part about it.
Yes.
But the whole thing is that they're always led by like a senior member who's essentially the head of this assassination guild. And when it comes to how they operate, they have a combat team and an investigation team. The investigation team finds out where a guy is operating. They report back to the combat team. The combat team comes in and sweeps. However, when it comes to an assassination, they will hire other splats under fake names, namely groups like the Silent Shredders, with their groups the Wayfarers, and they will pay them to get the job done for them, because they realize if it goes horribly wrong, that guy will know that the Kuei-Jin is after them, and it will be harder for us to attack him.
Yep.
Smart strategy.
Yes. And so if they get attacked by a Silent Strider Wayfarer, it's just a freak accident.
Exactly that. Or they get the Demon Hunter X people to come after them instead.
Yep.
With their crazy ass shit.
Well, their anime powers being the strongest motherfucker in the world, bitch.
So basically, Vampire SWAT is what these guys are.
Yep. It's kind of neat, actually. I like it.
Next up, we have the Brilliant Coals, aka Devil Tigers if they were Black Furies. It is a mega church made up of almost all women that do the exact same thing that the Righteousness Clubs were doing, but it's now a mega church led by almost entirely women.
Makes sense.
And they don't plan on blowing up the world the minute the Demon Emperor appears. They just happen to steal a bunch of guns and tanks from the Chinese Communist Party.
That's kind of hilarious.
Works out that way. The Electric Money Wickedness Club. So, yeah, that's what they're called.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang.
So you know how the glassworkers have the corporate wolves?
Yes.
This is them.
Makes sense.
They realized that Pentex and Bakemone were operating businesses in Asia, so this club formed. Essentially a group of insider traders, money launderers, drug dealers, data pirates that have all collaborated and will basically do dirty business to screw over Pentex's attempts to take over China.
Done dirt cheap.
And then the Chinese Communist Party decided that we're going to have that for you because we're going to make it illegal for anyone to have a bank account.
Well,
We're just
with
gonna
a
have
social credit score.
CCP mindset.
And that's Kyle, in China, you're not allowed to have a savings account above a certain threshold.
Yeah, and you wonder why your economy's in shambles. There's no upwards mobility.
Is that you stay in your position of power forever. And like Walmart is considered an upper end job and a place to shop in China.
It's I'll go check. Okay.
Yeah, again, average day in the CCP.
Is that? And after you earn a certain amount of money past your limited savings, that money just goes directly to the government.
Well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
At that point, it's the same thing that happened in the Soviet Union. What the fuck is the point after that?
If you thought Social Security fucking sucks in America, you haven't seen anything yet.
But you see here, we have to keep the entire lower half of the population both uneducated and broke. Okay. But just broke enough where they can't rise up by becoming rich and fixing the system, but not so poor they want to kill us perpetually. So you have to keep it in this perfect even line.
A perfect even line of shit.
Yep. I swear to God, it's like they figured out the same thing where it's like how few calories can a human survive on.
Yeah.
Well,
and
keep in mind, look, the problem is going to fix itself. There's not going to be any more Chinese people. Their birth rate's gone down the shitter.
Well, Donald Trump did just bend the knee to this entire group, so.
Well, no, he just brought a bunch of businessmen over instead of actual diplomats.
Yeah, he's fucking cucked.
I
Yeah.
like to believe a problem will solve itself after a while.
I
Not
do
in
too.
the helter-skelter way, but hopefully in a more productive manner.
Things usually
Uh,
do.
And along with it too, the Electric Money Club, something I was thinking about the entire time, the Black Club from Yu Yu Hakusho. Wouldn't it be really crazy if these guys are doing exactly that from the show, but they were just drilling a hole to hell to accelerate the rate that Kuei-Jin were being made?
That's kind of terrifying to think about.
That's the next plot of my game.
Oh, a giant hole to hell?
To accelerate more Devil Tigers.
Oh.
Oh shit,
Jesus.
I guess that's what we're looking forward in Disco by Night 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Next up, the Searing Wind. So there's a guy called Han Lee that looked over at the cement cranes and said, hey, you know what fucking sucks? You. Because now you essentially have the Yu Huang's favor and you can just do whatever you want to us. I mean, you made it law that we can't grow past a certain size. And that we have to, like, if we have a Devil Tiger who wants to be a Devil Tiger, he has to become part of a Devil Dharma now. That's a law that you passed. And then he was killed for saying that. Huh.
Jesus.
So he died a martyr. And now we have this group called the Searing Wind, which is a group of Chinese nationalists that really fucking hate the court system and want to destroy it so that the only Dharma that exists is Devil Tigers.
Well, I mean, that'll probably fuck up the numbers of the Kuei-Jin, but, go right ahead.
Yeah, we'll have the guys that see the world the right way take over is the idea.
Well, yeah, but then you got to replace the men that you've killed who actually had, important shit to say.
You see, why have a Spirit Crane or anyone else do all this stuff when a Devil Tiger can just do it better?
Can they, though?
Well, that's what they think. That's their own
Kind of.
arrogance, isn't it?
True.
Like, not really. Not really in referring to them being able to do the job better. No, they're arrogant as fuck.
Yep.
And then you have the Righteous Earth Prison Smiting Fist. Yes, that's their actual name.
Jesus
That-
Christ.
Yeah, these names
We
get a
have
little
to
silly.
anime max.
These are guys that look over at Yu Huang and say, hey, fuck this guy. He's over here perpetuating a system that is causing us to be tortured in hell. He's not actually doing anything about the Yama Kings, and the only reason we exist is because he wants people to do the work for him and take over the world. We're actually completely right about that.
Yes.
They're actually
they are
entirely
100% right about that.
But they are trying to kill Yu Huang, which is why they're outlawed. It's a radical group of Devil Tiger terrorists who are trying to kill the Chinese emperor.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense.
And that's the plot. That's essentially the group. It says, for recommended reading, buy our book, The Dark Kingdom of Jade, and The Dark Kingdom of Jade Adventures to find out what happens to these people. They won't succeed. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, probably not.
It ain't gonna work. This guy's fucking survives the entirety of Wraith the Oblivion. It's not fair.
Jesus. Okay.
And then we have the Distinguished Sinner Punishing Society, aka Kuei-Jin, who are actively looking for humans that they deem as wicked. They're going to go into hell and will just become Akuma when they come back. So we're going to go ahead, do them a favor, and spawn kill them.
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense. Pretty simple. Just, that guy sucks. Bang. That's it.
Exactly that. If they say you don't deserve to live, we'll just go ahead and kill you. And this is a group that will frequently break their own laws and just bite down the sucker just to get the job done.
You Thanatos want to know your location.
They're doing the job of Thanatos for them.
It's like, hey, have you noticed we haven't gotten the koala in China anytime soon? Or that's because you got the Distinguished Sinner Punishing Society over there. What the
They
fuck
took our
is that?
gerbs!
Again, just work together with the other splats and all the problems would be solved.
Exactly that. But did you want to work with the Devil Tiger, though?
Probably
No,
not.
well, it depends on the type of Devil Tiger and how far they take being evil, trying to be the most evil person, literally.
Now, we gotta go ahead and talk about some of the powers that you get with these guys. Now, the ones that you're inclined to learn are the Way of the South, the Way of Fire, and the Way of the Ghost Flame. We can basically describe what these are in a few senses, because we want to go over some of the rituals instead. Kyle, do you remember what the Will-O-Wisp is supposed to be?
The Will-O-Wisp is a Irish legend of which, in which a fairy will lead you to a place in which they can steal your soul.
that's basically the entire power. It's all about destiny and
Your
like
soul is
summoning,
mine.
like summoning Will-O-Wisp to guide the way, and it's like very slightly cracking into the entropy sphere, if I may more brutally summarize it.
Basically, yeah.
Now, when it comes to other ones, the Way of the South, what do you think that sounds like?
In feng shui speak, I don't know shit about feng shui,
Mhm.
but, God, now I'm thinking about it because I know we were talking about like, well, the South is more of chaos compared to the North, who was more lawful. So, what was the name of it one more time?
The Way of the South?
Oh, well, if it's just the Way of the South, and I imagine it would just be inciting chaos.
The Way of the South, if I may basically summarize it, if I'm remembering this right, are you familiar with Potence and Celerity?
Well, yeah, of course. You use that all the
That-
time in Vampire.
Basically that.
It's just potence and celerity. It's just yang gifts on the South.
Go ahead and enhance your physical gifts.
Okay, fair.
And then the Way of Fire, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory.
What fire?
The Way of Fire.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
you get
apparently that's
thaumaturgy.
self-explanatory enough.
Pyromancy.
Yeah, it's fun. Play with fire and, have fun with Rotrek.
And then, not to necessarily guide your hand, like, say, like, this is it, this is the way it's done. The Shintai that you're looking for amongst these guys, go for blood. Go for the blood Shintai.
Yep.
Assamite adjacent powers.
Oh, yeah. Friggin', if you want, Diet Quietus, then yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if it's Diet Quietus. I think it's just Quietus under another name.
So to basically explain what these guys do in terms of power and their basic builds, these are hunter-killers very much like the Red Talons. These guys are experts at finding out where you are, tracking your ass down, and they have means of killing both mortals and supernaturals. At character creation.
Yep. Sounds about right.
So imagine that being playable.
Yeah,
Or
well, it's
better
kind of
yet-
terrifying, so yeah.
And you fighting that.
I mean, sounds like a pain in the ass.
Is that this is a boss fight no matter how you spin it with these kind of powers.
Oh boy, yeah. I was looking through some of the rituals, and why do they all have just the weirdest fucking names? It's asserting the heavenly privilege of Yang Demon Command.
Because we have to get
The
more
hell?
and more anime.
I mean,
Is
yeah,
that-
that's fair.
It probably is. You probably say it a lot shorter
In
in
Mandarin Chinese, yes,
but if I may go over this with you,
yes.
because looking over some of these Shintai as well, go ahead and read out one of the powers.
So, this is an intermediate. Oh wait, one of the rituals or one of the powers?
Ritual.
Oh, okay, so I'll read that one that I just read off. Considered a privilege by virtue of its usefulness, controlling yang-aspected demons is quite a bit of work. Bane spirits are intraceable by nature and prone to tugging at their leashes for all they're worth. The Kuei-Jin are able to wrestle these spirits under his control, however, gains excellent tools in doing his duty to heaven. System. In performing this ritual, actually doesn't say I'm going to assume this is where the system begins. In performing this ritual, a Kuei-Jin must meet all of the following requirements. She must find an area crawling with Bane spirits. She must locate a suitable Bane using either Life Sight or Chi Sight, and then immobilize the Bane in some way. At this point, the Devil Tiger must set up and light a brazier and arrange ceremonial tools such as bells, censers, beads in preparation for a 30-minute ritual of chanting and praying. At the end of the ritual, the ritualist spends a yin chi trait and makes a resisted social challenge against the Bane's rage and willpower. If successful, the ritualist ensures faithful service from the demon for a number of lunar months equal to her willpower. She may also repeat this ritual to enslave a number of Banes equal to her willpower total, but each extra demon under her command decreases by 1 the number of lunar months the lot of them remains under her control. Enslaving multiple Banes makes each one in her power more rebellious and contrary, although they will not rebel openly until their period of servitude is up. This is the right that you need if if you want to enslave a Bane, I feel the need to say that again. You can enslave a Bane as a devil tiger.
Out here,
Exactly
just
that.
King Solomon, Max. Make the demons build your castle for you.
Basically,
we don't need no stargazers over here. We don't even need Act 10 not doing this.
no, you could just have the Kuei-Jin make all the Banes their bitch.
Is that it? And then we have a consumption worm incident happening in China.
Yeah,
After Shellwards find these in really small.
Yeah, it's gonna go great.
It's
like,
right
oh,
there.
this fucking random Kuei-Jin is tending a Bane that he enslaved. They must be working together. Kill him. And then the Bane's like,
Oh, thank you for freeing me. I'm going to go pollute the river.
and the Shadow Lords are like, oh
Let's just
no, we did
cause
it again.
Going into this, dude. All right, take a look at this as well. Do you want me to like break this up and like read off like something that you can do with Ghost Flame?
Yes, please.
Let me go crazy with you. Goblin shapes at level 3. The vampire spends a point of chi to emit a luminous, approximately human-sized mass of ghost flame. They make a dexterity and crafts roll to shape the flame into a desired form. Anywhere within 500 feet of your current position. Construct is phosphorescent and luminous. And it can Kindred may have no idea what the thing even is. Even Eastern chi may be fooled. If a ghost flame construct comes into contact with a material being, the construct flares up, self-destructs, and removes 1 point of the opponent's chi on impact. When used against other Shin, the construct consumes 1 point of the victim's gnosis, quintessence, glamour, or blood points appropriate.
Ooh.
It is a suicide bomb that drains your blood points.
Jesus.
Exactly that. So you see that it's slow, debilitating, destructive power with with these guys.
That is what they have been about since the start. So that's not, that's not too far off of what we'd expect from them.
And then the shit I mentioned before with the Way of South, I'm seeing over here, fucking that demon Shintai. Basically just improves your attributes whenever you spend a point on it.
I just realized that what I read was one of the live action adaptations of the rules, which I'm kind of sad about.
But
They're
it's fine
basically
too.
interchangeable
Yeah.
with the standard rule set.
You want to talk about spirit rights, where you just stick your hand into a jar of flies, then throw the flies at somebody, and then it fucking shreds their dice pool?
I beg your pardon. Which page is this on?
Spirit Joss, page 52.
Oh,
sorry,
shit.
Savage Joss.
Savage Joss.
You summon Bane flies around your hand. You then throw them at somebody, and then for the next 10 minutes, after smelling like honey, cayenne, aconite, and arsenic for 10 minutes, you then, going over the breads with you, essentially causes an instant point justice straight to the target, and an officious bureaucrat will be immediately reprimanded by her superiors for some petty infraction. An inconsiderate jogger will twist his ankle or step into a brush, and someone who refuses to stop talking in a theater will catch his finger in a chair. It will just cause something unfortunate to happen to you.
That's really funny, actually.
And to my understanding, this is like fucking free, no roll.
It just happens.
You just need to know the ritual to summon these flies, and you can just use the flies for no cost.
So you just have to keep some flies on you.
Yes.
Well, or just not shower, and then they'll just come to you.
Asmongold?
Yeah, basically.
That or Christopher Chandler also works.
Here we got to do the increase one. Read the Bakemono right.
Bakemono. Yes, that was actually what I was looking at. Where did I? There it is. Yes, this is a level 4 ritual. Through this ritual, the devil tiger invites an evil spirit to join with the soul of an Inquisious? Yeah, I think that's
it's
it.
one word.
Iniquitous? I have no idea how to fucking pronounce that.
Don't worry about it.
Iniquitous. I've never seen that word before.
We learned a new word today.
Yes. Iniquitous, I guess it is. Mortal, creating the unwholesome creature known as a bakemono. The target of this rite must be chosen carefully. The Crimson Tigers must make sure they take as their servants only mortals who will not be missed. More importantly, Banes cannot join with the soul of a mortal unless an unrighteous life is ready to place for an evil spirit to dwell. While suitable candidates are entirely too common in some parts of the Middle Kingdom, they still do not grow on trees. Devil Tigers in search of minions must often spend quite a while looking, particularly if they wish to recruit a number of such servants, and if the mortal targets are too wholesome yet to accept the spirit meddling, the Banes may well turn on the Kuei-Jin who summoned them. System. The Kuei-Jin must bring the sinner in question to a defiled dragon nest. Likewise, the evil spirit with which they will join the mortal soul must be present and bound to the Kathian's service, either through rite or through the tapestry power in chi shaping. The Kuei-Jin's player must spend a point of temporary willpower and make a successful charisma and rituals roll, with the difficulty of the local wall rating on the target's willpower, which is ever higher. The difficulty is either the local wall rating or the target's willpower, whichever is higher. The Bakemono rite takes several hours and is in no way pleasant. Even the most wicked mortal is likely to have second thoughts when a creature of an elemental evil begins burrowing a new home into his soul. Even if the mortal does not regret his situation for some reason, which at this point is beyond any remedy save death, the convulsions and incredible agony that accompany the possession are truly horrific, and they may call for restraints on the victim. The ritual takes approximately 1 hour, and the initial period of possession lasts from 4 to 6 hours. The Bakemono's character manifests itself over 3 to 7 days. This time, the most difficult of the goblins master. The Bakemono's supernatural powers will have begun to manifest, but the mortal's will may not yet have succumbed completely to the influence of the wicked spirit. Jesus, a long one. If the spirit used to create the Bakemono was restrained via a demonological ritual at the time of the binding, the goblin tends to be naturally subservient to the demonologist. Weakened as it is by the union with a mortal soul, the spirit will never be able to shake off the bonds of ritual binding. Those goblins, restrained only by chi shaping, are likely to be of considerably more rebellious character, and the generous use of chiumu, or obligation, are suggested to ensure the Bakemono's continued loyalty. As a rule of thumb, each 10 points of the spirit's power rounded down allows the Bakemono to manifest one supernatural power, aside from the ability to soak lethal damage, which is inherent to Bakemono. Binding spirits of power greater than 40 into a mortal's frame is possible but not recommended. While the resulting Bakemono are often quite powerful, they rarely survive for long. The living mortal frame is not meant to contain that much evil. Mortals who become Bakemono cannot take a second breath. Like a broken-winged bird, the wounded soul spirals down into the mouth of Yomi after death. Moral Bakemono also see Werewolf of the Apocalypse supplement Freak Legion. How about that?
You saw what we just read. You can make Fomori.
Yes, you could just do that. It
You
takes
can just
hours to do so, but you can make a Fomori and make him entirely subservient to you.
Exactly that. You can beat the Defiler Worm at his own game and copy his power.
Yep, it's like, I can make better Defilers than you, fucker.
And
Which
what we were saying
things
before
get
about...
real cursed when you realize that technically means you could create stuff like, damn it, what were those really strong Fomori called that were like naturally born?
Yeah,
Yeah, you could hypothetically cook those up.
And for those humans that were naturally wicked and were just going to become more Akuba for you to worry about, just turn them into one of these.
Basically.
They won't respawn.
It's also a way to prevent them from ever being embraced or reincarnating, so...
That is true
go
as
ahead,
well.
You set this guy loose, he does his damage, he dies with no connection to you, and you get away with it scot-free.
Yep, and then the soul just goes down into Malpheus.
Granted, you jammed a soul to not even hell, just erasure in doing that, but do you care?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, it's not even
Well,
goes to
it
Malpheus, it's
depends
just
on
the mouth of
who.
Yomi. It's Oblivion.
Like, come on. You just look up all the people in the sex offender registry and just use them.
I will say that, just to make sure my terminology is correct, the mouth of Yomi is indeed Oblivion, correct?
Yes.
That's what I thought, okay.
Also, I thought about the starting disciplines. You start with Ghost Fire and that's it.
Oh.
So, yeah, I was reading that section wrong. I'm sorry about that, audience. Though, I will say you are more inclined to learning demon arts than anything else.
Yes.
Blood is supposed to be more like a yang thing. That's my mistake. But I would like it if you took your blood powers because it just sounds fucking cool for Devil Tigers to have.
Well, yeah, obviously, especially if you're an attack team,
But you do start off with Ghost Flame.
which
You'll at
helps.
least have a point in that. So, let me take some reading just for a second. Let's do a key, right? Let's do some crazy. JoJo's got a minute, so let's just go ahead. Let me just say this: Ritual of Heavenly Defilement.
It's
The
a
Devil
level
Tiger cherishes
6.
Dragon Nest.
Jesus.
Much to the consternation of the fellow Kuei-Jin, they prefer that such places bubble with dark chi and teem with bane spirits and Kuei. By this means of the ritual, the Devil Tigers defile the chi of a dragon nest. That is a mage cairn that they're using this on. The system: Devil Tiger ritual performs a ritual that stretches over 5 nights. During each of the 5 nights, the venom of 5 poisonous animals are poured over the soil of the nest, and the ritualist must make elaborate offerings to heaven and the ministers of celestial bureaucracy. At midnight of the 5th night, the dragon nest chi curdles like sour milk. Next comes a charisma manipulation roll at a difficulty local to the gauntlet rating +2. For each successive roll, a Devil Tiger of Dharma 6 and higher may absorb 1 point of demon ki from the dragon nest per night. Like absorbing ki from an area that has been defiled, the absorbed ki does not cause Shadow Soul. However, a nest cannot be used for normal osmotic feeding. A Kuei-Jin who absorbs demon chi beyond their Po rating run a substantial risk of developing a defile flaw. So if you're looking for a mechanical reason as for why the Stargazers lost all their cairns, and why the Akashic Brotherhood is struggling in Asia, this is it.
It's all the Kuei-Jin's fault.
They put 5 kinds of poison into it, and then proceeded to siphon all the gnosis out of that area, empowering themselves.
So they literally became Gnosis parasites.
And as we know with Meiji Ascension JoJo, it takes a lot of prime and a lot of successes to reopen one of those. It is very difficult to make a
We're
node.
still stuck in that problem. So.
You haven't figured out how to work it yet. And let's bring up an artifact. Let's go ahead. Let's just do... Do you want to do the instance of inauspicious attention?
I was thinking about that, but I'm also looking at... Oh, wait, the Holy Books of Hell are something different, aren't they?
Yeah, the Holy Books of Hell. No, what? Fight the incense. Let's go into that. Let's go to the books.
Yep. Okay. So there's actually quite a few of them. But the most prolific is probably going to be, say, the pre-Dharmic text. They only exist as fragments. Most of the originals were destroyed by the Shi witch hunters during the burning of books. The righteous fire survives more or less intact, but only small pieces of the discourse on iniquity have ever been found. Most of what's known comes from reference and allusion rather than first-hand experience. First, you have the discourse on iniquity. The discourse on iniquity is the formative Kuei-Jin religious text, laying down groundwork for the 5 traditions of the Great Principle as formalized a few centuries later by the Grand Arhat. From what has survived and what is known of the text, it served as the basis for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th ways, the ways that dictate proper behavior for one walking the road back. The 1st and 5th way recognize the unity of the 5 dharmas and the equal validity of their individual roads to heaven, is seen as Xue's greatest insight. Bring peace to the Wan Kuei and shaping their faiths were born at the same time. And then you have, continuing on, the discourse on iniquity is believed to have been realistic and an almost cynical and succinct look at the situation of the Wan Kuei and how the Wan Qian had arrived at their disgrace with thoughts on how they might be able to redeem themselves. It concluded with suggestions on means by which the paths back to heaven might be divined, and some very well-founded assertions about the natural order. The appearance of the discourse marked the birth of the first proto-religious movement amongst the Wan Kuei and the short-lived and ill-started demon warrior empire. So it's basically a history book discussing how exactly, the Wan Shui or the Wan Xian eventually fell to the Wan Kuei and eventually the Kuei-Jin is how that book goes.
And one more artifact, the Knives of Sublime Hunger. Where it's kind of like a word salad with the way it's described, but to brutally summarize it, it is a knife that does strength +1 aggravated damage and then you multiply your dice that you rolled on your damage by 2 after you roll them.
Wait, so multiply?
Yes, but whatever you got on your damage dice roll, you did multiply the number by 2.
Oh,
Holy
Jesus.
shit.
They make claves. The Devil Tigers can make claves now.
Yeah, these guys are... when we first went over the Kuei-Jin, we're like, oh, these guys are, like, not as cool for Mori. And now we're like, no, these guys are fucking scary.
Once again, the power ceiling is much higher with these guys. And then it says right there on the other page, 63. Yeah, Ghost Flame and Demon Arts are what these guys take on character creation.
Yeah,
that's what you're inclined to learn.
That's not that's a very scary start.
Where Demon Arts just increases your attributes, and then Ghost Flame is what was described before, like Destiny combined with Pyromancy.
Yeah, even still, like less than enthusiastic.
I got confused for what I was talking about. Sorry, but
no, it's all good.
Essentially, it's a book.
Yeah. This, I think, is a much better description of how the Kuei-Jin are than than just like the regular Kuei-Jin, like the Kindred of the East.
Oh, whatnot. Next page, you also see there's another monster manual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You see how, like, they put far more effort into Kuei-Jin than I initially thought when, like, reading through it, and it's like, this was some slept-on potential here. They actually had a good idea.
Yes, this is like the most mechanically sound game they've ever made. Was Kuei-Jin.
Yes. They're quite like this.
The point where I'm looking through this, I'm saying, like, I'm struggling to find anything that's actually, like, broken in this game.
No, like, a lot of it seems pretty well balanced and honestly pretty detailed.
Yeah, I have stuff that's really strong, but that's stuff like, late game or clearly only designed for, like, MP.
I kid you not, this is a perfect synthesis between vampire, werewolf, and mage. Perfect.
Yeah,
I've noticed that, and like the more like I think about it, at some point, I'm most certainly gonna run Kuei-Jin because initially, when like introduced to it, I thought it was pretty mediocre first, but as like I've done more reading over it, I see more potential in this than initially.
Because I'm all for playing. I'm running for winning a Kuei-Jin game. I definitely want to do this at some point with the subscribers.
I mean, this is looking like actually like a pretty unique setting with some really unique potential. I think this is pretty sick, I gotta say.
And like on top of all of this, like none of the short of like some shorthand history section stuff, none of this like I've seen here like why people get particularly offended over.
Oh, there's nothing to get offended about. It's just a bunch of social justice shit.
No,
yeah, exactly.
It really isn't.
There's nothing here that's particularly egregious.
My closing thoughts on Devil Tigers. I'm sold.
Yeah, this is cool as shit.
Because I was brutally disappointed with Demon of Fun. Like, Demon of Fun is all I told my subscribers we were going to make more on Demon of Fun. Then it turns out, fucking no.
Well, no,
there really was just the one episode to make. There is no episodes we can make on Demon of Fun because it just fucking sucks.
It's just so it's either esoteric or just boring.
And then I want to do more Wraith videos, but nobody actually gives a shit about Wraith because of the stigma around it. But this is exciting.
Yes.
I like doing vampire episodes, I like doing mage episodes, but the Kuei-Jin has me excited.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on this. The Devil Tigers are actually a really freaking cool faction with a lot of really cool things going on.
Oh yeah, Kyle, you know how much I love the villain protagonist.
This is precisely up your alley. If you want to be a bad guy and get shit done, this is the way to do it.
You are a bad guy and bad guy.
Yes.
Fuck what Zangief had to say. You're both.
You're a bad guy and bad guy.
So thank you, JoJo, for letting me drag you in.
Yes.
Well, you did ask for it.
Well, yeah, I did it partly on accident
You
last
asked
minute.
for it. Now you're good. I get it.
If there was one thing I can end off saying here to give this book a bit more praise, is I genuinely do like it with Jin. One of the splats where you have to engage with the morality system the most.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Especially to the point where you basically have dedicated books to it. Like, you do have the same thing with Vampire, but even then, it's easy to game the morality system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally, your vampire could be anything, but no, your Devil Tiger is one thing. This is the thing it is, and it describes the thing very well.
Yes, in spectacular fashion with a whole lot of new possibilities for power.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, go ahead and get this book an A-grade rating. It's very good.
Yes. And then make a Kuei-Jin that's a devil tiger because they're cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hell yeah. So yeah, that's a wrap.
Yep. Good night,
GN,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night, everyone. GN.